Dream within dream. You open your eyes. The morning light peeks through the curtains. Everything seems calm. You hear the distant sound of a dog barking. The clock on your wall ticks softly. You sit up, stretch, and think, that was a strange dream. But something feels slightly off. You try to shake the feeling. Then you wake up again, this time for real. Or is it, have you ever had that moment, that quiet second when you realize you were still dreaming, even though you were sure you had woken up? That's the mystery we're exploring tonight. The idea of a dream within a dream, and maybe something even deeper. What if all of life, everything you've seen, felt, believed, is just another dream waiting to be broken? Before we go further, let me ask, have you ever experienced something like this? Waking up only to realize you're still dreaming? Or moments where the world around you felt too strange to be fully real? Share your stories in the comments. You're not alone in this. Many people around the world, from different places and cultures, have felt the same quiet confusion. And tonight, we're diving into it together. Let's start with something simple, a late afternoon nap. The kind that sneaks up on you. One moment you're reading a book or scrolling on your phone, and the next, your eyelids are heavy. You drift off. And in that dream, you might find yourself back in school. Or maybe in a childhood home. Everything feels vivid. You can feel the texture of your desk. You can hear the echo of footsteps in the hallway. You might even feel nervous, like you forgot to study for an exam. Then suddenly, your eyes open. You're back in your room. You laugh softly at how real it all felt, but then the room is a little too quiet. The colors seem a bit faded. The clock is moving but not ticking. And just when you start to wonder, you wake up again. Now everything looks normal, or at least what you think is normal. But a small thought lingers. How do you really know this isn't just another layer? This is the heart of the dream within a dream paradox. The more real a dream feels, the harder it is to tell it apart from waking life. And if we can't always tell the difference, what does that say about reality itself? Let's bring it even closer to home. Have you ever had a moment during your day, while walking outside, or talking to someone, where things just felt off, like time was moving too slowly? Or the sounds around you felt distant, like they were coming through a wall? These moments don't last long, but they leave you wondering, even if you don't say it out loud, is this real? Now, of course, most of the time the answer is yes. We trust our senses. We believe what we see and hear. But this paradox invites us to pause and ask, what if our senses can be fooled? After all, in dreams, they already are. When you're dreaming, you don't know you're dreaming. Your brain creates entire worlds. It builds rooms, conversations, feelings. You can run, cry, laugh, all inside a world that only exists in your mind. It's not until you wake up that you realize it was all made up. So what if waking life is just another dream we haven't yet left? Now let's not get lost in fear or confusion. This isn't meant to scare you. In fact, there's something peaceful about this idea. If life is a dream, then it means the rules can bend. It means our pain and worries might not be as solid as they seem. It also means that every moment we get to feel love, wonder, or joy is even more precious. This paradox isn't just found in sleep. It appears in movies, books, even in daily life. Think of a time when a memory felt more real than the moment you were living in. Or a moment so beautiful it didn't feel possible, like watching snow fall for the first time, or hearing a song that touches something deep inside you. Those are the kinds of moments that blur the line between dream and reality. There's also a part of this that touches how we think about ourselves. If life is a dream, then who are we in that dream? Are we the main character, or just a part of someone else's story? When we dream, we often believe we are someone else entirely. We might be a child again, or in a job we never had, or even living in a place we've never seen. But while it's happening, it feels completely real. And sometimes we wake up with feelings we can't explain. Sadness, joy, fear, without knowing why. That's because dreams don't just stay in the night. They follow us into the day, quietly shaping how we see the world. This idea also connects with deeper themes, like belief. If we can't be sure what's real, then how do we decide what to believe? For some, this leads to doubt. For others, it opens the door to faith, a belief in something beyond what we can touch or see. It also touches mental health. Feeling disconnected from reality or unsure of what's real can be scary. But talking about it, understanding it, and exploring it gently, like we are now, can help us feel less alone. This paradox even shows up in science and technology. In conversations about artificial intelligence and virtual reality, people ask, what if one day we create a world so real that we forget it's not? What if we're already in one? These questions might sound like science fiction, but they come from the same human curiosity that led you here tonight. In the end, maybe the question isn't whether we're dreaming or awake. Maybe it's how deeply we choose to live in each moment. Whether this is a dream or not, we can still be kind. We can still love. We can still wonder. So next time you wake up, really wake up, pause for a second, look around, feel the air on your skin. Listen to the sounds, notice the colors, and if you feel a little unsure, that's okay. That's part of being human. We live in a world filled with mystery, and sometimes the most beautiful part is not having all the answers. If you've had moments like this, if you've ever woken up into a dream, or felt that strange sense that reality might be softer than it looks, leave a comment below. Let's share these moments together. Your experience might help someone else feel a little less alone. And if you're enjoying this quiet journey through thought, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and click the bell. There's much more to explore, and I'd love to walk through it with you. For now, rest easy. Whether this is a dream or not, you're exactly where you need to be. Memory without self. Have you ever woken up and, just for a moment, had no idea who you were? No memory, no name, no place. Just the soft sound of the world around you. Birds outside, the hum of a fan, maybe the ticking of a clock. And then slowly, it comes back. Your name, your room, your life. But what if it didn't? What if all your memories disappeared forever? Would you still be you? Let's sit with that for a moment. Imagine you're standing in front of a mirror. You see your reflection, your eyes, your hands, the same lines on your face. But you don't. Remember your childhood. You don't remember the people you love. You don't remember why you have that small scar on your chin or why a certain song makes you feel something deep inside. You are here, but your past is gone. Would the person staring back still feel like you? Before we go further, I want to ask, have you ever had a memory slip away, even for a second? Maybe during an exam? Maybe after a long day when your brain just feels too full? Or maybe you've met someone who's gone through memory loss. Share your experience in the comments, or even just where you're watching from. It helps us feel a little less alone, knowing we're all walking through these strange questions together. Let's try something simple. Think of your favorite childhood toy. Got it? Now think of the feeling you had when you held it. Maybe it was soft and warm. Maybe you brought it to bed every night. Maybe it was your best friend. Now what if that memory was taken from you? Not just the toy, but the entire feeling. The smile, the warmth, the comfort. If that part of you vanished, would something important about you vanish too? This is the strange heart of the paradox. Is memory what makes you, you? Here's a story that might make this feel more real. Picture a man in his 40s. He wakes up in a hospital bed after an accident. He's healthy. He can speak. He remembers how to walk, eat, talk, even drive. But he has no memory of who he is. He doesn't remember his wife's face. He doesn't remember his job. His voice sounds unfamiliar to his own ears. His hands feel like they belong to someone else. doctors say the memories might come back. Or they might not. Now ask yourself, who is this man now? Is he still the husband he once was, even if he doesn't remember his wedding? Is he still a friend, even if he doesn't recognize his childhood buddy's face? Is he still himself? You usually think of ourselves as one single person, growing over time, from a small child to a teenager to an adult. All of that connected by memory. But if memory is the thread that holds our story together, what happens when that thread breaks? Some might say, well, if your body's still here, you're still you. But think about this. Your body has changed so much over the years. Every cell, in your skin, your bones, your hair, most of them have been replaced many times. Your face looks different than it did 10 years ago. Your voice might sound different. Even your brain physically changes as you grow and learn. So if even your body isn't exactly the same, maybe it's your memories that really hold the shape of you. Others say maybe it's your personality. But personalities shift too. A shy child can become a confident speaker. A rebel teen can become a peaceful parent. Sometimes trauma, illness, or just the slow passage of time can change who we are. So what's left? Let's try another example. Imagine two people, Person A and Person B. They both look exactly like you. Person A has all your memories, your past, your favorite jokes, your childhood games. Person B has no memory at all. But here's the twist. You wake up as Person B. You remember nothing, but the world tells you that you're you. Your ID says your name. People show you pictures of yourself. They speak to you like you've always been there. But inside, it feels blank. Would you believe them? Would you feel like they're talking about someone else? Could you still feel love for people you don't remember loving? This isn't just about memory loss. It's about something deeper. We often believe our identity is inside us, unchanging, but this paradox asks if that's really true. Maybe who we are is a story we keep telling ourselves, and memory is the ink. Think about how fragile memory can be. Have you ever remembered something wrong? Like a detail that changed over time, or a moment you were sure happened one way, only to learn it happened another. Our brains fill in gaps. They adjust. They rewrite. So even the memories we do have, how real are they? And what about people who have vivid memories of things that never happened? Psychologists call them false memories. Sometimes entire groups of people remember things that are factually false, but still feel true. So if memory can be wrong, changeable, or even made up, can we really trust it to define us? Let's go even further. In the world of artificial intelligence, machines can now be programmed with memory. They can remember conversations, patterns, even faces. But we don't think of those machines as having a self. So what's missing? Maybe it's not just memory, but meaning. The feelings attached to memories. The way we felt during a moment. The weight a memory holds in our heart. Losing a memory might mean losing that meaning, and maybe that's what really changes who we are. There's something quietly painful about this paradox, because we all fear forgetting. We write journals, we take photos, we tell stories, we want to hold on. Because deep down, we know that when memories fade, something about us fades too. But maybe there's another way to look at it. Maybe identity isn't just something we remember, it's something we create. Every day. In the choices we make, in the way we treat others, in the values we carry. Maybe even without memory, we can still be someone. Not the old version of ourselves, perhaps, but still real, still human, still capable of love, kindness, laughter, and hope. Some say that if you lost all your memories, you'd still have your habits, your way of smiling when you're nervous, or the way you tilt your head when you're curious. Maybe that's still you in there. Maybe memory is just one part of a larger puzzle. Or maybe the self is an illusion, a comforting story, a way for us to make sense of all the changing thoughts, feelings, and moments. Maybe there is no single you, just a stream of experience, tied loosely by memory, but never fully solid. This can feel scary, but it can also feel freeing, because if you are not only your past, then you are not trapped by it. You can always become someone new. You can grow, shift, evolve. So the next time you look in the mirror, think about this. Even if all your memories vanished, something would still be there. A presence, a consciousness, a being that is still experiencing the world. It might not be the you remember, but it is still someone, and maybe that's enough. If you've made it this far, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think we are still ourselves without our memories, or do memories make us? Share in the comments. And if you enjoy deep questions like this, questions that make you feel something, please like the video, subscribe, and join our little corner of quiet wonder. We have so much more to explore together. Now, close your eyes. Breathe slowly. Let the question rest in your mind like a soft fog. Who are you without your memories, and who might you still become? Silence speaks louder. Have you ever sat in a room with someone and said nothing but somehow felt like a whole conversation had passed between you? No words, no sound, just silence. And yet, you felt everything. The weight of something unspoken, the truth hiding between heartbeats. Sometimes silence says more than 1,000 words ever could. Think about the last time you were silent. Not just quiet, but deeply silent. Maybe it was a car ride after a fight, or maybe you were sitting outside watching the sky change colors. Maybe it was during a test when tension filled the room, or perhaps you've been with someone who was crying and you didn't know what to say, so you said nothing. And still, that silence meant something. It wasn't empty, it was full. Before we explore this idea more deeply, I'd love to know, have you ever had a moment where silence said more than words? Share it in the comments, or even just let me know where you're watching from. It helps remind us that we're all human. We've all felt these quiet moments, and maybe together we can understand them better. Let's start simple. Imagine you're walking into a room where two people just had an argument. No one says a word, but the air feels heavy. You don't hear the fight, but you feel it. That silence carries a message. Or maybe you're watching someone you love say goodbye at an airport. They hug, they look at each other. No words, and still you know what they're saying. That kind of silence is loud. It's emotional, it's real. This is the strange part. We often think of communication as something that happens through words, talking, texting, explaining, but silence, in its own quiet way, speaks too. It tells us what someone is afraid to say. It shows us what someone truly feels. It gives space for emotions to breathe, for truth to rise. There's something powerful about sitting with silence. In relationships, sometimes the most honest moments come when nothing is said. A pause after, "I'm sorry." A look after, "I love you." A shared moment when both people know something has changed, but neither wants to say it. That's where silence becomes more than just the absence of sound. It becomes the voice of something deeper. Let's look at it another way. Think about your own mind. When things get loud, thoughts racing, stress building, silence can feel scary. That's why so many of us fill the quiet with noise, music, shows, scrolling through a screen. But if you sit with silence long enough, something strange happens. The surface noise fades, and underneath something honest starts to show. A feeling you've been avoiding, a truth you didn't want to face, a memory you've pushed away. Silence makes space for those things to come up, and that can be uncomfortable, because silence doesn't lie. It doesn't distract. It just is. Pure and simple. Let's try another example. Think of a teacher pausing during a lesson. That's small. Silence after asking a hard question. It makes everyone pay attention. The quiet holds weight. Or imagine watching someone on stage just before they speak. That breath, that pause, The silence builds suspense. Sometimes silence isn't just meaningful, it's necessary. This also shows up in language. In writing, we use commas, dashes, and pauses to slow down a thought, to give space. In music, silence is just as important as sound. A pause between notes creates rhythm, feeling, tension. Without silence, music becomes noise. Without silence, speech becomes overwhelming. Now, let's take it one step deeper. Have you ever been in a group where everyone is talking, but no one is really saying anything? People using words to hide, to avoid, to cover up what they're really feeling. In those moments, silence would say more. It would cut through the surface. That's because silence, when used with honesty, has the power to reveal. It shows us what we're really thinking when we don't know how to say it. Sometimes silence is peaceful. Other times it's heavy. It can be loving, or it can be cold. It depends on what's underneath. A comforting silence between old friends. A painful silence after an argument. A respectful silence in a moment of loss. Each one carries a message, and we feel it, even if we don't have the words to explain it. In mental health, silence can be both healing and dangerous. For some, silence gives the space to rest, to breathe, to come back to themselves. For others, silence can feel like being trapped, like shouting into a void and hearing nothing back. That's why we have to be careful. Silence isn't always peaceful. It depends on why it's there. And in the world of technology, especially artificial intelligence, silence is even more confusing. Machines talk. They give answers. They respond fast. But they don't pause in thought. They don't sit in silence. They don't hold space. That's something deeply human. The ability to sit with another person and just be. No fixing, no explaining, just presence. That's what makes silence so human. It connects us without words. It gives us time to feel, to understand, to accept, and sometimes it allows the heart to speak when the mind is too tired. Let's think about something personal. Think of the last time you felt truly seen, not because of what someone said, but because of what they didn't say. A friend sitting beside you during a hard moment. A parent who knew you needed space. A partner who held your hand and didn't try to solve anything. In those moments, silence was not emptiness. It was care. It was trust. This paradox, silence speaks louder, challenges the way we understand truth. It asks, are we always being honest when we speak? Or are we sometimes more honest when we don't? Here's something you can try. Next time you're having a deep talk with someone, pause. Let silence fill the space for a few seconds. See what comes up. Often, the real truth shows up after the words stop. A tear, a breath, a glance. That's where understanding begins, and maybe you've felt it too in your own life. After a long day, you sit down and turn everything off. No phone, no music, no talking, just silence. And in that quiet, something rises. A feeling, a memory, a thought you didn't know you had. That's the power of silence. It holds what we usually hide. If you're still here, thank you for sitting with this idea. These quiet thoughts matter. If this spoke to you, consider giving the video a like or subscribing so we can keep exploring ideas like this together. And please, leave a comment. Let me know how silence has shown up in your life. I'd love to read about it. Now take a deep breath. Let the room be still. Let your thoughts slow down. Because in the end, maybe silence is not the absence of sound, but the presence of truth. And sometimes the loudest message is the one no one ever says out loud. Sleeping while awake. Have you ever opened your eyes in the morning, gone through your day, talked to people, finished tasks, but somehow, when night came, you realized you don't remember living it? You were there. You were breathing, walking, replying, but it felt like you were sleepwalking through your own life, not dreaming, not fully awake, just somewhere in between, a strange kind of sleep with your eyes wide open. It's a strange feeling, isn't it? That quiet question, am I really awake? Not just out of bed, not just standing or working, but truly awake, aware, alive, present. Or am I just following the steps, ticking boxes, repeating habits, like a dream I can't get out of? Before we go deeper into this idea, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever felt like this? Like you're going through the motions but not really living them? If so, share your story in the comments, or even just tell me where you're watching from. This is a space where we explore the quiet questions that live behind the noise, and you're not alone in asking them. Let's think of something simple. You're brushing your teeth. Every day, same routine. You finish, and you can't even remember doing it. Or you're walking home but suddenly realize you don't remember the walk at all. Or you're talking to someone, nodding, smiling, but your mind is far away. These small moments, where we fade from the present, pile up. And before we know it, a whole day, a whole week, maybe even a whole year, passes in this half-awake state. This is what it means to be sleeping while awake. The body is up. The eyes are open, but the mind is somewhere else, somewhere quieter, maybe tired, maybe hiding, maybe just lost in thought, but not here, not fully here. And it's not your fault. Life is full of routines, alarms, messages, responsibilities. We're taught to stay busy, to keep moving, to achieve. But in that rush, something subtle happens. We stop noticing the world around us, the smell of rain, the way light falls on the floor, the warmth in someone's voice. These things fade when we're too caught in the loop. Sometimes this state shows up in deeper ways, like when you're talking with someone you care about, and you suddenly feel distant, not because you want to, but because your mind is elsewhere. Or when you're in a place you've always dreamed of visiting, but your heart doesn't respond. It's numb, it's quiet, like your soul hasn't caught up to your body yet. It can also happen during hard times. When life feels too heavy, we slip into this sleep-like state to protect ourselves. We go on autopilot, wake up, work, eat, sleep, repeat. But inside, we feel like a shadow. Not fully gone, not fully here, just floating. And this is where the paradox lives. You can be awake and still asleep. You can smile at someone without feeling the smile. You can be surrounded by people and still feel alone. You can be achieving goals and still feel empty. That's what makes this so strange and so human. Let's bring this closer to daily life. Imagine a student studying for exams. They read the words, flip the pages, highlight the lines. But ask them later what they read, and they struggle to answer. Or think of a person stuck in a job they don't love. They wake up early, sit at their desk, go through meetings, but inside they feel like they're missing something. Something important. Something real. That quiet feeling. I'm here, but I'm not really living. This isn't just about boredom, it's about disconnection. A slow drifting away from the present moment. And once you notice it, it's hard to ignore. Sometimes this feeling is connected to mental health. People going through sadness or stress often describe it this way, like they're watching life through a window, not part of it. Like they're a ghost in their own story. Even joy becomes hard to feel. Even rest doesn't feel restful. But it doesn't always come from sadness. Sometimes it comes from repetition, doing the same things every day without pause. A life filled with tasks, but empty of wonder. And that's when we ask ourselves, is this what living is supposed to feel like? Even in conversations, we see this. You ask someone how they are, and they say, "I'm fine," with a smile. But something feels missing, like their voice is saying one thing, and their heart another. We learn to hide, to act, to move through the world like we're supposed to. But the real self stays hidden. Asleep. This also happens with technology. We scroll through images, messages, videos. Hours pass. Our eyes move, but our minds drift. We think we're relaxing, but sometimes we're just numbing. avoiding the silence, avoiding the questions. And that's when we need to ask, are we truly awake? Or just lost in a dream made of light and sound? Even machines, like artificial intelligence, can give us answers, stories, instructions. But they don't wake up. They don't feel. They don't pause to watch the sunset. They don't cry during a song. That's what makes our human sleep so different. Even in our half-sleep, there's a soul trying to wake up. A small voice asking, "Is this all there is?" But there's hope in this too. Because the moment you notice you're sleeping, you're already waking up. That's the quiet miracle. Awareness. You can be walking home and suddenly feel the breeze. You can look at a friend and truly see them again. You can sit with your own thoughts and feel them come alive. It doesn't take something big. It starts small. A breath. A pause. A single moment of being fully here. Feeling your feet on the floor. Listening to the sound around you. Letting your thoughts come and go without pushing them away. That's how waking up begins. And when you start waking up even a little, it changes everything. The coffee tastes richer. The music feels deeper. The sky looks wider. The people around you seem more real. You remember how much beauty is hidden in plain sight. How much life there is in a single moment. And yes, you'll fall back asleep again. That's okay. We all do. Life pulls us into its rhythm. But now, you'll know the difference. You'll know when you're slipping into that quiet sleep, and you'll know how to come back. So if you've ever felt this way, disconnected, numb, floating through the day, know that you're not broken. You're human, and you're not alone. Many of us are walking through life with our eyes open but our hearts asleep. But we can change that. One breath, one choice, one quiet awakening at a time. If this message reached you tonight, or reminded you of something you felt, consider liking the video or subscribing. It helps this space grow. And if you feel like it, leave a comment. Let us know where you're listening from, or share a moment where you felt truly awake. Sometimes the smallest stories are the most powerful. Now, as you rest, let this question stay with you gently. Are you truly awake, or just moving through a deeper kind of sleep? Because maybe the first step to waking up is realizing you've been asleep. Witnessing. Your witness. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, and then realized you were watching yourself think? Like your thoughts were moving through your mind, but a deeper part of you was just sitting there, quietly observing? It feels strange, doesn't it? Like you're two people at once, one who's thinking, and another who's watching the thinking. But then a new question appears. Who is watching the one who watches? That's when it starts to feel like a mystery that loops forever. Before we go deeper into this quiet puzzle, I want to ask you, have you ever experienced this? That strange feeling of stepping back from your own thoughts and just noticing them? If yes, leave a comment. Tell me where you're listening from or how it felt. Your story might help someone else realize they're not the only one, because many of us have felt it, but we don't always talk about it. Let's look at something simple. Imagine you're worried about something, an exam, a conversation, a decision. The thoughts come fast. What if I fail? What if I say the wrong thing? What if it all goes wrong? But then suddenly, you pause. You notice the worry. You hear it in your head like a voice that isn't you, just a voice happening inside you. You don't stop the thoughts. You just observe them. And in that moment, something shifts. You become the watcher. But what does that really mean? To be the watcher of your own mind? If you are the one observing your thoughts, then your thoughts cannot be the real you. They are just thoughts, like clouds passing through a sky. The sky is not the cloud. The sky holds them. And maybe you are not the voice in your head. Maybe you are the one listening. It gets even more curious, because once you start observing your thoughts, you might ask, who is this part of me that watches? Is it my soul, my deeper self, or just another layer of thought? And if I'm watching my own mind, can that observer also be observed? Is there an even deeper layer of awareness watching that? Like mirrors reflecting mirrors, it can feel like standing between two mirrors, your reflection stretching into infinity. You are here, but there's another you behind the eyes, and maybe another behind that. It's not scary, it's soft, like falling slowly into a question that has no end. Even in daily life, this experience appears in quiet ways. You might be in a conversation, saying something, and suddenly realize you're watching yourself speak. You become aware of your tone, your posture, your emotion. Or you're walking, and instead of just walking, you notice the movement. You're aware of being aware, a silent witness inside you, always present. This awareness is not loud. It doesn't shout, it just watches. And this is the paradox. It's the most intimate part of you, and yet it feels like something beyond you, like a light that shines on your thoughts, but cannot be touched by them. It sees your joy, your sadness, your fear, but it remains still, calm, unaffected. This brings up deeper questions about identity. If I can watch my emotions come and go, does that mean I am not those emotions? If I can see my thoughts, does that mean I am not my thoughts? And if I can watch even the self I think I am, then who am I really? These questions touch something ancient. People from different times and cultures have asked them in many ways. Some called it the soul, some called it consciousness. Others saw it as a silent space behind everything, a place that's always awake, always watching, never changing. And yet, it's not something you have to believe in. You can feel it. Right. Now, try it. Close your eyes for a moment and watch the thoughts that rise. Don't follow them. Don't judge them. Just notice them. Then ask yourself, who is noticing this? The thought is not the observer. The feeling is not the observer. So, who is? This experience has a strange effect. It makes your problems feel lighter. Not because they go away, but because you're not tangled in them anymore. You're not lost inside the story. You're holding the book and reading the pages. You can feel pain, but still be peaceful. You can be anxious, but still have space around the anxiety. You're not trapped. You're watching. Even in moments of confusion or sadness, this inner witness is still there. Quiet, gentle, not judging. Just being. It doesn't try to fix anything. It doesn't need words, it just is. And somehow that simple presence makes everything feel more spacious. Like there's room to breathe, even in the middle of a storm. Think about AI for a moment. A machine can respond to input. It can follow patterns. It can even pretend to be thoughtful. But it doesn't have this silent witness. It doesn't observe itself. It doesn't wonder what it is. It just does. And maybe that's the difference, that quiet space inside us that watches, that asks, that wonders, that is never fully asleep. Sometimes this awareness feels like standing at the edge of a lake, watching ripples on the surface. Each ripple is a thought, an emotion, a reaction, but you are not the ripple, you are the stillness watching it. And the deeper you rest in that stillness, the more peaceful life becomes, even when it's messy. In relationships, this awareness helps too. You feel angry, but you can pause. You notice the anger. You don't push it away. You don't act on it immediately. You watch it. And in that pause, something kind happens. You respond instead of react. You become gentle, aware, and the other person feels it too. In sadness, it works the same way. You don't have to hide it or fix it. You can sit with it. Watch it rise and fall like waves. You are not the wave. You are the ocean underneath. Even in moments of joy, this awareness is present. You laugh, you smile, you feel light. And behind it, there is that quiet part of you that simply watches. It doesn't hold on. It just observes the joy, like sunlight touching skin. It knows that joy will pass, just like sadness. And that's okay. This witness is not something you create. It's something you are. It's always been there. When you were a child, playing in the grass. When you were a teenager, dreaming. When you felt lost. When you felt found. Always watching, always here. And maybe that's the most comforting part. In a world that changes constantly, in a mind that never stops moving, there is something inside you that never changes. The part that sees it all. The part that quietly asks, who is observing the observer? If this message touched you, or if you've ever felt this silent awareness inside, leave a comment below. Tell us where you're listening from, or just share a word that describes what this feels like to you. Peace, stillness, mystery. We're building a quiet space here together, one thought at a time. And if you'd like to stay with this kind of calm reflection, consider liking the video or subscribing. It helps this peaceful space grow, and it lets you come back whenever you need to feel grounded again. Now, as you rest, let this question gently echo in your heart. You observe your thoughts. But who is observing the observer? Maybe it's not a riddle to solve, but a door to a deeper kind of presence, one that's been with you all along. Feeling the void. Have you ever sat in complete silence hoping to feel calm, only to feel something heavier instead? Not sadness, not fear, not even boredom, but something deeper, a strange stillness that almost feels like weight. As if the silence is not empty, but full of something you can't quite name. It doesn't hurt, but it's not soft either. It just is. And when you try to move away from it, you realize you're not running from sound or thought. You're running from this quiet feeling that somehow feels too big to hold. If you've ever felt this, you're not alone. Tell me in the comments, have you sat in silence and felt something unfamiliar? Something that didn't quite make sense, but felt important? Let us know where you're listening from, and how that moment felt. We're building a calm space here, where it's okay to feel things we don't have words for. Let's imagine something simple. You're sitting on your bed, maybe after a long day. The lights are off. Your phone is charging on the table. No messages, no music, no voices, just stillness. You expect to feel peace, but instead, you feel something else. Like a quiet pressure in your chest. Not a panic, but not comfort either. A strange sense of being alone, not just in your room, but in the universe. You try to name it, but it slips away. It's just there, like a shadow, without a source. This is what some people call the void, but that word can sound dramatic. Really, it's just a kind of awareness, a deep noticing of what's beneath everything else. Beneath your thoughts, your plans, your stories. When all of that fades for a moment, what's left? Just being. And sometimes just being feels heavier than we expect. Most of our lives are full of noise. We wake up to alarms. We scroll through news. We talk, type, listen, plan. Even when we rest, our minds keep running. But when everything goes quiet, a strange thing happens. The noise outside stops, and suddenly, we hear something inside, not a voice, not a thought, just a feeling. A wide, quiet space that can feel a little cold at first, like the air right before a storm. Still, but not empty. This feeling shows up in small moments. After a breakup, after finishing an exam, after moving to a new city, after achieving something big, you thought you'd feel relief, or joy, or peace. But instead, you just feel space, a gap where something used to be, a quiet that doesn't ask for anything but also doesn't comfort you. It just sits there, like it's been waiting for you. It's easy to think something's wrong in that moment, that maybe you're too sensitive, or broken, or missing something. But what if nothing is wrong? What if that strange stillness is not a mistake, but a doorway? A quiet space that shows up when all the layers have fallen away. Not to punish you, but to invite you. To ask a quiet question. Can you stay here, even when there's nothing to hold on to? This is the heart of the paradox. We search for peace, but when real stillness arrives, it can feel too much, too bare, too honest. Because in that space, you're not being distracted, you're not being praised, you're not being needed, you're just there. And being there, truly there, is the hardest and most beautiful thing. Imagine a foggy morning. No sounds, no colors, just soft air and pale light. You stand alone in it, and it feels like nothing is happening. But maybe everything is happening, just quietly. The world is not rushing. It's breathing. And so are you. This quiet can bring up old memories, fears, dreams you forgot, feelings you buried. The silence doesn't create these things. It just reveals them, like dust in sunlight, and that's why it can feel heavy. Not because silence is heavy, but because you are deep. You carry stories, loss, love, questions, and when all else fades, those deeper parts rise to the surface. This also connects with something many people feel today: a sense of loneliness, even when surrounded by others, a sense of drifting, like something is missing, but we can't say what. Sometimes, what we call loneliness is not a lack of people, but a lack of connection to that deeper quiet inside. We avoid the void because we don't understand it, but maybe it's not asking us to run. Maybe it's asking us to listen. Even technology plays a part in this. Our devices fill every silence. They give us something to do, something to check. And when we feel that quiet weight rise, we often scroll to make it go away. But the truth is, no amount of noise can replace what the silence is pointing to. It's not asking for distraction. It's asking for presence. And here's something gentle to consider. Maybe the void is not empty at all. Maybe it's full of potential, like a blank page before the first word, like a pause before the music begins. It doesn't feel like peace, but maybe it's the beginning of peace. The kind that doesn't depend on anything outside you. Not success, not praise, not even happiness. Just presence, just being. In relationships, this awareness can help. When we're silent with someone we care about, we often try to fill the gap with words. But sometimes, the deepest connection happens in shared stillness. When two people can sit quietly together and not feel the need to perform or explain, just breathing, just being, together in the void. In mental health, this space can be both challenge and comfort. It can bring up feelings that need care, but it can also be a place of rest, a place where you don't have to be anyone or do anything. Just notice, just watch, just feel. In spiritual traditions, this silence is often the place where people feel closest to something bigger. Not a voice, not a vision, just a vast, silent presence that feels both inside and around them. And even if you don't use those words, maybe you've felt it too. On a quiet night, on a walk alone, in a moment when time seemed to stop and the world felt soft and wide. Even in the world of AI, this concept touches something interesting. AI can respond, it can calculate, but it doesn't feel the void. It doesn't sit in silence and wonder what it is. That quiet awareness, the kind that notices the silence and feels its weight, that is deeply human. Maybe it's one of the things that makes us human. So what can we do when the void appears? Nothing. That's the point. Don't rush to fix it. Don't try to escape. Just breathe. Sit with it. Feel its shape. Let it be there. The more you allow it, the less scary it becomes. Over time, that heavy silence starts to feel like a friend, a space where nothing is expected, a space where you are enough, just as you are. If you've ever felt this quiet weight, this still presence, I invite you to share it in the comments. Tell us where you're listening from, or what this feeling means to you. One word, one sentence, or just a pause. We're here with you. And if this message helped you feel seen, consider liking the video or subscribing. It helps us grow this quiet space, a place where thoughts can breathe and silence is safe. Now, as you rest, let this idea settle in your heart. When you sit quietly and you don't feel peace, but something deeper, that doesn't mean you're lost. It means you've found something real, not loud, not bright, just true. And sometimes truth comes wrapped in silence. Illusion of control. You wake up and think, I'll decide how today goes. You check your calendar, pick your clothes, maybe plan your meals. It feels like your day is yours, like you're the one holding the wheel. But what if, just for a moment, you wondered whether all those choices were truly yours? What if underneath it all, you were simply following tracks that had already been laid, without even knowing it? Have you ever felt like you made a free choice, only to look back later and wonder if you really had a choice at all? If that thought has ever crossed your mind, you're not alone. And if you're listening right now, I invite you to share where you're from, or tell us if you've ever felt like life was steering you instead of the other way around. We're all exploring this mystery together. Let's start with something simple. Imagine it's a rainy morning. You're walking to work, or school, umbrella in hand. You choose to stop by your usual coffee shop. You order the same drink you always do. You sit at your usual table. Was that choice really yours? Or was it a pattern formed by habit, comfort, or even a soft kind of autopilot? We like to think we control our lives, that our decisions shape our path, and in many ways, they do. But there's something strange here, something quiet and hard to see, because many of the choices we make, what we eat, who we date, how we react, don't come from nowhere. They come from a long line of tiny influences, childhood memories, cultural norms, the way our parents spoke, the streets we grew up on, even a song we heard once at the wrong time. These little things stack up quietly, and over time, they begin to shape how we move, what we believe, what we avoid, what we chase. And the more we look closely, the more we realize we might not be choosing from a blank page. We might be choosing from a page that was already scribbled on. Let's say you avoid conflict. You always try to keep the peace. You think it's just your personality, but then you remember how loud things were when your parents fought, how silence felt safer. That memory shaped something. It planted a seed. And now, years later, it grows every time you stay quiet, even when you want to speak. Is that free will, or is that a hidden pattern playing itself out? There's a deep paradox here. The more we believe we're in control, the more blind we might be to what's actually moving us. But the moment we admit we might not be fully in control, something opens up. A space, a chance to see what's guiding us, and maybe even shift it. Take another example. Imagine you always feel the need to prove yourself, to get perfect grades, to be the best at work. On the outside, it looks like drive, like ambition. But underneath, maybe there's a quiet voice, a belief that you're only worthy if you succeed. Where did that belief come from? A teacher's words? A comparison to a sibling? A moment that stung long ago? Sometimes, the patterns that shape us don't shout. They whisper. But those whispers guide our steps more than we know. And we follow them, thinking we're making fresh choices, thinking we're free. But we might just be tracing loops, beautiful loops, painful loops, drawn long ago. This doesn't mean you're not responsible for your life. You are. But responsibility doesn't mean control. You can respond to your patterns, but to do that, you first have to see them, and that seeing is hard. Because the patterns often hide behind the very things we think are just who we are. This touches more than just personal choices. It touches belief, language, mental health, even how we see reality itself. We may think we chose our faith, or our values, or our politics, but many of those were given to us early in small doses by people we trusted. Over time, they became part of our map. And once we build a map, we often forget we built it. We just follow it. Even language plays a role. The words we use shape what we notice. Some languages have dozens of words for sadness. Others have none. So what does that mean for how people in different places feel, or even understand, their own emotions? The illusion of control is deep, and it shows up in the smallest places. Have you ever played a game and believed that if you just held the controller a certain way, you'd win? Or tapped the screen a certain number of times? That's a little trick our minds play. We want to believe we're in charge, because believing we're in charge feels safe. And yet, when we stop trying to control everything, something surprising happens. We soften. We start to observe. And in that quiet observing, we begin to notice our patterns. Not with judgment, not with blame, just with care. Maybe you notice that you get anxious every time someone's 5 minutes late. Maybe you always say, yes, even when you're tired. Maybe you apologize too quickly. These aren't failures. They're just echoes. Echoes of stories you've lived. Echoes of what your younger self thought it needed to do to stay safe or be loved. Even artificial intelligence, in its own way, is shaped by patterns. It responds based on training, on inputs, on systems, just like us. It doesn't choose. It follows. And maybe that's why this paradox matters. Because if we don't pause and look at what's shaping us, we risk becoming like machines, moving through life without really seeing the path we're on. But here's the gentle truth. Once you start seeing the illusion, you're already beginning to wake up from it. Once you ask, why do I always do this? You've cracked the surface, and in that crack, there's light. So what can we do? Not fix everything at once. Not try to control what's uncontrollable. But we can notice. That's the first gift, the noticing. We can pause before reacting. We can breathe before deciding. We can ask ourselves, is this really my choice? Or is this something I've been trained to do? And sometimes, just asking that question is enough. Because questions open doors. They don't demand change. They just allow room for something new to appear. Some people find freedom in letting go of the illusion, not in a hopeless way, but in a peaceful way. They stop trying to control every moment, and instead, they learn to meet each moment with kindness, with curiosity, with a soft willingness to learn. Others use this awareness to heal, to trace their patterns back to their roots, to forgive themselves for the times they acted without seeing, and to slowly build new patterns, ones that feel more alive, more chosen, more free. This doesn't mean life becomes easy, but it becomes more real, more honest. And in that honesty, there's strength. If this reflection speaks to something you've felt, I'd love to hear from you. Let us know if you've ever seen a pattern in your life that surprised you. Or tell us where you're listening from tonight. Your presence here matters, and if you find comfort in this space, consider liking the video or subscribing. It helps keep this gentle corner of the world going, a place where we can question softly, breathe deeply, and rest in the mystery. As you settle in now, let this thought echo gently in your mind. You believe you steer your life, and maybe you do. But sometimes, the path beneath your feet was shaped long before you walked it, and that's okay. Seeing the path doesn't mean judging it. It just means walking it with open eyes. And maybe, just maybe, that's where true freedom begins. Not in perfect control, but in quiet awareness. In knowing that even if you can't change every pattern, you can learn to dance with them. Softly, slowly, kindly. Self behind self. Think about this for a moment. When someone asks you, "Who are you?" What do you say? Maybe you give your name. Maybe you say what you do, where you're from, or what you like. But what if, just maybe, every answer you give isn't the full truth? What if right behind that answer there's a deeper version of you, quietly hiding, watching, waiting to be seen? Have you ever introduced yourself in one way to someone new, but then realized later that it didn't really show who you are? Or have you ever said, "That's just how I am," and then months later surprised yourself by changing completely? If you've ever felt that strange shift inside, like you're not quite who you were a year ago, you're not alone. Share with us where you're listening from, or let us know. Have you ever felt like you were changing in ways you didn't expect? Let's start with something simple. Picture this. You're meeting someone new at a dinner or a class. They ask, "So tell me about yourself." And in that moment, you scan through your mind. You pick what feels most true right then. Maybe you say you're a student, or a teacher, or that you love reading, or that you're quiet or funny or still figuring things out. That's yourself, at least the one you chose to show. But then imagine another day, maybe at home, maybe alone, maybe walking under the stars. And suddenly, you feel different. You feel like there's a part of you that doesn't match what you said. A deeper layer, a quieter version of yourself that didn't speak during the dinner. One that wasn't seen, but is still there. This is the paradox. Every time we describe ourselves, every time we think we've found who we are, another version quietly waits beneath the surface. It listens, it feels, it shifts, but it doesn't always show. We all have these layers, and they're not fake. They're not masks. Each one is real, but incomplete, like the colors of a sunset. You may see orange, but behind it is pink. Behind that, violet. And behind that, darkness or light. None of them are wrong. They just keep changing. Think about your younger self. Maybe 5 years ago? 10 years ago. Would you say you were the same person then? Some parts are still here. Your memories, maybe your laughter, maybe your fears, but others have faded, grown, transformed. You might remember a time you thought you had it all figured out. You said, "This is who I am." But then life changed. You. Gently. Or suddenly. And you looked back and realized, that version of me wasn't false, but it wasn't the whole truth either. It's like peeling an onion. Every layer feels like the center, but when you peel it back, another layer is waiting, and another, and another. You keep peeling, thinking you'll find the final you. But maybe there is no final version, just a gentle unfolding. Even in relationships, we see this. You meet someone and say, "I love how calm they are." But months later, you see a different side. They're still calm, but also full of fire, or softness, or sorrow. We all hold more than what we first show. This touches something deep in how we understand ourselves, our beliefs, our healing, even our sense of time. Because if we are always unfolding, always changing, then we can't fully hold on to a single version of who we are. And yet, we try. We build stories. We say, "I'm the kind of person who never gives up," or "I always overthink," or "I'm bad with people." But these stories, while comforting, can also trap us. They keep us stuck in one layer, when maybe the layer beneath is ready to emerge. Let's take a simple example. Say you're someone who's always been shy. You avoid big crowds. You stay quiet in groups. That's the version of you people know. And maybe you say, "That's just who I am." But then one day, something changes. You speak up. You surprise yourself. And afterward you think, "Where did that come from?" Maybe it was always there. A voice hiding behind the shyness, a deeper self waiting for the right moment. Or think about moments of sadness. You might say, "I'm fine, I'm doing okay." That's one self, but underneath maybe there's grief, or confusion, or a dream you buried. That deeper self doesn't lie, it just waits. And when you finally feel safe enough, it speaks. Even in joy there are layers. Have you ever laughed at something and felt two feelings at once? Joy on the surface, and a little ache underneath. Maybe a memory, or a thought you didn't expect. That's the self behind the self again. Always whispering, this is not something to be afraid of. It's something to explore, gently, with kindness. Because knowing that we have layers doesn't mean we're fake. It means we're human, complex, soft, alive. It also touches how we speak, the words we use, the way we explain ourselves. Language helps us define who we are, but language is also limited. You might say, "I feel sad," but that one word, sad, can't hold all the shapes of your emotion. It doesn't hold the memories, the colors, the weight. There's always more under the words. Even artificial intelligence, in a way, reflects this paradox. It can mimic a voice, predict a sentence, but it can't feel the layer behind the words, the trembling under a smile, the silence before a decision. That's where the human self lives, in the quiet spaces in between. Mental health is deeply tied to this too. Sometimes we feel lost or confused because the self we show doesn't match the self we feel. We say, "I should be happy," but deep down, something hurts. We say, "I'm okay," but we're not. That gap between outer and inner can feel wide, heavy, but noticing the gap is the first step to healing it. We often hear phrases like, "Be your true self," but maybe there isn't just one true self. Maybe you are many things, all at once. And that's okay. There's a self that shows up at work, a self that laughs with friends, a self that cries in silence, a self that dreams while walking through the park. And none of them are fake. They are just parts of the same song, different notes, different moments. And sometimes you meet someone who sees a part of you no one else has. They say something small, but it touches something deep, and you think, how did they see that? Maybe that hidden part was quietly waiting to be found, to be loved. So what do we do with this paradox? How do we live with the self behind the self? We don't try to solve it. We don't rush to define it. We just stay curious, soft, open. We let ourselves change. We allow space for new versions to rise, and we don't punish ourselves for the ones that came before. Maybe tonight, before you sleep, you can ask yourself gently, what part of me haven't I met yet? Or what self is waiting behind the one I show? Don't try to answer too fast. Let the question rest inside you, and if you feel connected to this reflection, share your thoughts in the comments. Let us know where you're listening from, or if you've ever felt yourself changing in quiet ways. If you find peace in this kind of soft thinking, feel free to like the video or subscribe. It helps keep this calm space alive. For you, for me, for everyone who's still unfolding. And as your eyes grow heavier now, as your breath slows, let this thought drift through you like a quiet breeze. Every time you name yourself, a deeper self listens. Every time you speak, a quieter voice watches. Not to hide, but to be found. In time, in stillness, in the gentle unfolding of your beautiful, layered life. Mind without borders. Imagine sitting quietly, watching a sunset, feeling the breeze on your skin. Now, ask yourself this simple question. Where does your mind end? Is it right here, inside your head, just within your body? Or could it stretch far beyond your skin, beyond the room, even beyond the earth itself? It's strange to think about, but this question touches something deep and mysterious in all of us. Have you ever felt your thoughts reach far beyond where your body sits? If so, share where you are right now and what you're thinking about. Let's connect in this shared experience. Every day we go through life assuming that our mind belongs only to us, inside our heads, private and enclosed. We imagine our thoughts are like tiny sparks flickering inside a lantern, separate from the world around us. But what if that is only part of the story? What if our mind doesn't have a border and what we call our thoughts are part of something much bigger? Think about when you're daydreaming. You might be sitting quietly in a park or in your room, but suddenly your mind travels. It drifts to a place you love, or an idea you want to explore. Sometimes it leaps to memories from long ago, or plans for the future. You are here, but your mind is somewhere else. It feels like your thinking is no longer trapped inside your head but flows freely like a river. Or think about the times when you feel connected to something larger. Maybe you're watching the rainfall or looking at the stars. You don't just see the weather or the sky, you feel part of it. You feel your thoughts blending with the world around you, almost like your mind is reaching out to touch the vastness. This experience is common but often goes unnoticed. Have you ever had a moment like this? Feel free to share it in the comments. What did it feel like when your mind seemed to expand? The idea that our mind has no borders can feel both comforting and confusing. It touches how we understand ourselves and our place in the world. We often say, "I think, therefore I am." But what if our thinking isn't limited to our bodies? What if the I includes the air we breathe, the sounds we hear, even the people around us? Let's look at a simple example. Imagine you're in a classroom taking a test. You're focused on your paper, but outside, other students are also working. Maybe you hear a bird outside the window or feel the hum of the air conditioner. You might feel nervous or calm, but inside your mind isn't just the words on the paper. It's the feelings, the sounds, the thoughts that come and go. The line between your mind and the outside is blurry. Or in relationships, we sometimes feel connected so deeply that it feels like our minds touch. When you talk with a close friend or family member, you might finish each other's sentences or share the same thoughts without saying a word. This is a small glimpse of how minds can connect beyond their borders, in a way words alone can't fully explain. This idea challenges how we see the world. It asks us to rethink what it means to be an individual. Are we separate islands? Or are we part of a vast, flowing ocean of thought, feeling, and awareness? This paradox also reaches into belief and spirituality. Many traditions teach that our true self is not limited to the body. They speak of the mind or soul as something vast and boundless. This can bring comfort, especially in moments of loneliness or fear. The idea that our mind stretches beyond the physical can make us feel less alone. It also links to mental health. Sometimes when our thoughts feel crowded or overwhelming, it's easy to feel trapped inside ourselves. But remembering that our mind has no hard borders can open a new path. It invites us to breathe out, to feel connected to the world and others, to let thoughts flow rather than get stuck. Even technology and artificial intelligence hint at this paradox. When you use a device to communicate or create, your thoughts travel beyond your body. They move through networks across the world to reach other people or machines. Your mind expands beyond your skin in a way. Yet AI itself does not experience this connectedness. It processes data but cannot truly reach beyond its programming to feel or be aware. This contrast reminds us of what makes human minds so unique. When you think about this, it feels natural and strange at the same time. We are used to thinking of ourselves as contained beings, but life keeps showing us otherwise through feelings of connection, moments of inspiration, or sudden understanding. Try this. Close your eyes. Take a slow, deep breath. Imagine your thoughts gently flowing outward like ripples on water, reaching the trees, the sky, the stars, the earth. Feel your mind spreading softly without borders, touching everything around you. Don't try to control it. Just observe. If this brings calm or wonder, consider sharing this feeling. Let us know if you felt your mind expand beyond your body. Where were you? What did it feel like? We can all find comfort in knowing we share this mysterious experience. If you enjoy this gentle exploration, please like this video and subscribe. It helps keep this peaceful space open for moments like this, where we can think quietly and deeply together. As your eyes begin to close and your breathing slows, carry this thought with you. Your mind has no walls. It is a soft light, reaching beyond skin and bone, touching the world and all that lives within it. In that endless space, you are never truly alone. Thinking stops thought. Have you ever tried to catch a butterfly with your hands? The more you chase it, the faster it flies away. Now imagine your mind is like that butterfly. When you try too hard to understand your own thoughts, they sometimes seem to slip away, disappearing just when you want to grasp them. This feeling can be strange and frustrating, but it's something many of us experience. Maybe you've felt it while sitting quietly, trying to focus or find answers, only to realize your mind is empty or restless instead. If this sounds familiar, please share where you are watching from, or when you've noticed your thoughts slipping away. It helps us feel connected in this shared mystery. Every day our minds are busy. We think about what to eat, what to say, how to solve problems. But sometimes the harder we try to understand or control our thoughts, the less clear they become. It's like when you stare too closely at a star in the night sky. Suddenly it seems to flicker or vanish. Thoughts can be just like that star, shining clearly when we're calm but flickering out when we push too hard. Imagine you are preparing for an exam. You sit at your desk, open your book, and try to focus on the information. But the more you try to understand the material, the more distracted your mind feels. You may find yourself staring at the page, but not really thinking. This is a simple example of how thinking about thinking can sometimes stop real thinking. The harder you chase the answer, the more it seems to hide. Or consider a conversation with someone important to you. You want to express your feelings clearly, so you carefully think about each word. But in focusing so much on what to say, you might lose the natural flow of the conversation. The connection feels less real, less open. This happens because thinking too much about thoughts can block the spontaneous, true moments that come naturally. This paradox touches many parts of life. It reaches beyond just everyday struggles with focus. It asks us to question how we use our minds and what it means to really think or understand. Sometimes, thinking needs to slow down or even stop to allow deeper insight to emerge. Trying to force understanding can create a barrier rather than a bridge. This idea is also important in belief and spirituality. Many traditions teach the value of quieting the mind, of letting go of constant mental noise to find peace or wisdom. When thoughts stop chasing each other, something new appears, an awareness beyond words. This awareness doesn't need to figure everything out. It simply is. This is why meditation, silence, and stillness have been valued for thousands of years. From a mental health point of view, this paradox explains why overthinking can cause stress and anxiety. When thoughts race or loop endlessly, trying to control them only makes things worse. Instead, learning to observe thoughts without grabbing them can help ease the mind. It's like watching clouds float by, rather than trying to catch each one. Even in the world of artificial intelligence, this paradox has meaning. AI processes data and makes decisions by following rules and patterns, but it does not experience the quiet mind, the space where thinking stops and true understanding can happen. This highlights a special human ability to rest the mind, to be present without pushing or forcing. Try this now. Take a deep breath and notice your thoughts. Don't try to hold or control them. Just watch them gently, like leaves floating down a calm river. Some thoughts will come, some will go. Let this happen without judgment or effort. You may find that in this gentle observing, new clarity arises naturally. If you find peace or insight in this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Sharing your experience in the comments helps us build a quiet, thoughtful community where minds can rest and explore together. As your body relaxes and your breathing slows, remember that sometimes the best thinking happens when thinking stops. In that stillness, your mind can rest and open to new understanding, like a star shining quietly in the night sky. Seeing the seer. Have you ever looked out a window and noticed the world passing by? Trees swaying, people walking, clouds drifting, only to suddenly wonder, who is the one actually looking? It sounds like a simple question, but it's one that opens a deep mystery. You see, every moment when you observe the world around you, there is someone inside you doing the watching. But who is this watcher? Can you find the person who sees? This question may feel familiar, or maybe it's new to you. Wherever you are watching this from, I invite you to think about times when you've noticed your own gaze, your own awareness. Have you ever caught yourself staring into space, or noticing your own eyes moving as they look around? Maybe you've experienced a moment when you felt separate from your thoughts, as if you were watching yourself from a distance. If so, share your experience in the comments below. Knowing others have felt this adds to our sense of connection. Let's explore this with simple examples. Imagine sitting outside on a quiet afternoon, watching birds fly from tree to tree. You see the colors, the movements, the sounds, but there is more happening than just seeing birds. There is a you inside that notices all these things. This you is not just a body or a face. It is something deeper. It's the part of you that watches, that knows, that is aware. Or think about when you're in a conversation with a friend. You listen to their words, notice their expressions, feel the emotions behind the conversation. But again, there is a watcher inside you, quietly observing these moments, even noticing how you feel as you listen. This watcher seems to be separate from the chatter in your mind or the feelings in your heart. It is simply there, watching. This paradox reaches beyond everyday moments and touches bigger questions about who we really are. In many spiritual and philosophical traditions, this seer inside is called the true self, the observer, or pure awareness. It is said to be the part of us that is always present, even when everything else changes. When the body moves, when thoughts come and go, this watcher remains steady and calm. From a mental health perspective, noticing the seer can be a powerful practice. When life feels stressful or overwhelming, stepping back to observe your thoughts and feelings without getting caught up in them can bring relief. This is the core of mindfulness, a way of being that helps us live more peacefully. Instead of being swept away by worries or strong emotions, we learn to watch them calmly, like watching waves rise and fall in the ocean. Even language struggles to capture this idea fully. We say I see or I watch, but who exactly is the I in these phrases? This question shows the limits of words. The seer cannot be pinned down or described completely. It's felt more than explained, known more by experience than by definition. In the world of artificial intelligence, there is no seer. AI can process images, recognize faces, analyze data, but it does not have a watching presence inside. It does not observe itself or have awareness beyond its programming. This difference reminds us that the seer is a unique part of being human. It connects us to something larger than the mind or the body. Try a simple exercise now. Close your eyes and breathe slowly. Notice the sounds around you. Feel the air on your skin. Now ask yourself gently, who is hearing these sounds? Who is feeling this air? Don't try to answer with words. Instead, just sense the presence that is aware of all this. You might feel a quiet, calm space inside. This is the seer. If this idea feels interesting or peaceful, please like this video and subscribe for more gentle explorations like this. Share your thoughts or experiences below. Let's build a calm, thoughtful community where we can explore these mysteries together. As you rest quietly now, remember, while your eyes look out at the world, there is a deeper you, the silent watcher, quietly seeing it all. This presence is steady and still, no matter what happens outside. And in that stillness you can find peace, awake inside sleep. Have you ever woken from a dream feeling like the dream was more real than the day you just lived? Maybe you dreamed about a place or a person, and for a moment after waking, it felt more alive than the world around you. This strange feeling, where sleep seems more vivid or true than waking life, invites a deep question. Could it be that sleep is actually the deeper reality, and waking life just a layer on top? This idea sounds strange, maybe even unsettling, but it touches on something many people have felt quietly inside. If this sounds familiar to you, or if you have ever had a dream so clear it stayed with you all day, please share your experience below. Where are you watching from right now? Have your dreams ever felt so alive that it made you question what is real? By sharing, we create a community of curiosity, and connection. We are not alone in these strange moments of wondering. Let's look at this through simple, everyday experiences. Imagine a rainy afternoon when you're cozy inside and you drift off to sleep. In your dream, you visit a place you've never been before, a city full of colors and sounds you don't recognize. The people there speak in ways that feel familiar, and everything feels vivid and full of meaning. When you wake, the rainy afternoon feels dull by comparison. The dream felt sharper, more intense, almost like a real place you had been. Or think about exam days. Sometimes, before a test, you might dream about walking into the room and knowing all the answers. The dream is so clear that when you wake, the pressure of the real test feels strange and distant. The dream world gave you a sense of calm and success that the waking world did not. It's as if, for a little while, the dream was your true home. In relationships, too, dreams can be powerful. Maybe you have dreamed of someone you care about, sharing moments of love or conversation that never happened in real life. When you wake, those feelings linger. You might wonder, was that dream just a story, or was it a glimpse into something deeper? These examples show how our minds sometimes treat dreams as more than just random pictures or stories. For many people, dreams hold a kind of truth that waking life can't always offer. They remind us that our experience of reality is layered and complex. What we see and feel when we are awake might be only one side of a greater whole. This paradox, where sleep seems more real than waking life, also touches big ideas about belief and consciousness. In many cultures, dreams are seen as windows to the soul, or messages from a hidden part of ourselves. Some spiritual traditions teach that the waking world is an illusion, a dream within a dream, while the world of sleep connects us to a deeper truth or even to something timeless and infinite. From the perspective of mental health, understanding this paradox can be comforting. When life feels confusing or harsh, dreams can offer escape, insight, or healing. They can bring feelings we cannot access when awake. Learning to listen to dreams gently can help us connect with parts of ourselves that are often quiet or hidden. Language struggles here too. How do we describe the difference between dream and reality? Words like awake and asleep feel clear, but when we question which is truer, the line blurs. Dreams don't follow the usual rules of time and space, yet they can feel more meaningful. This challenges our usual ways of thinking. Even technology and artificial intelligence reflect this paradox in a strange way. AI can simulate dreams or create virtual worlds, but it does not dream. It does not live inside layers of reality or question which world is truer. This shows how uniquely human this experience is. Our ability to hold mystery and uncertainty, to wonder about reality itself. Try a simple moment now. Close your eyes and breathe slowly. Imagine the last dream you remember. Don't try to analyze it. Just feel what it felt like, how real it seemed, how alive it was. Now open your eyes and look around you. Notice how the waking world feels. In contrast, both worlds exist, side by side, and both are part of you. If this idea moves you or makes you curious, please like this video and subscribe for more gentle journeys like this one. Share your dreams or thoughts below. Your stories help us all feel more connected. As you settle into rest or continue through your day, remember that inside you lives both wakefulness and sleep, both reality and dream. Sometimes the deepest truths hide in the spaces between these worlds, and in those spaces you might find a quiet peace waiting just for you, knowing the unknowable. Have you ever tried to understand your own mind and felt like the more you tried, the more it slipped away? It's like trying to hold water in your hands. No matter how tightly you grip, it always escapes. This strange feeling that some parts of ourselves can never be fully known connects us all in a shared mystery. It's a quiet paradox. We want to understand who we are inside, but part of our mind seems forever hidden. Have you felt this too? If so, please share where you are watching from and how you experience this in your own life. By sharing, we build a gentle community exploring the unknown together. Let's think about this in simple ways. Imagine you are watching the sky on a cloudy day. You try to guess when the sun will peek through. You check the clouds, the wind, the light. But the moment the sun appears is always a surprise. No matter how much you study, you cannot fully predict it. Your mind is like that sun hiding behind clouds, always partly out of reach. You understand something about it, but it never reveals all its secrets at once. Or think about preparing for a big exam. You study the chapters, memorize facts, practice questions. You try to know everything you need. Yet, when the exam day comes, you realize you don't know everything. Some questions are unexpected. This feels frustrating but also familiar. Your mind has limits. No matter how much you learn, some things remain unknowable until they appear. This shows how knowing is always partial. In relationships, the paradox is clear too. You might think you fully know a close friend or family member. You understand their words, their habits, but sometimes they surprise you with thoughts or feelings you didn't expect. It's a reminder that even the people closest to us have parts that remain mysterious. This applies to ourselves as well. Parts of our mind stay hidden, even from our own view. This idea of the unknowable mind touches big themes about belief and self-awareness. Many spiritual teachings say that the true self is beyond what the mind can grasp. It is like the sky that holds all weather but cannot be caught by it. This can feel frustrating at first, but also freeing. It reminds us that not knowing everything is part of being human. It opens space for wonder, curiosity, and acceptance. Language struggles here because words are tools that try to describe what we see or think. But the mind itself is the one using the words, and it cannot fully describe its own workings. This makes self-knowledge a unique challenge. We use thoughts and language to understand ourselves, yet these are the very things we seek to understand. It's a loop that never quite closes. This paradox has effects on mental health as well. Sometimes, when people try too hard to understand every feeling or thought, they become overwhelmed. Trying to control or explain everything inside can create stress or confusion. Learning to accept that some parts of the mind will remain unknown can bring calm. It allows us to be gentle with ourselves and to rest in the mystery without fear. Even in the world of artificial intelligence, this idea plays out differently. AI systems process data and analyze patterns, but they do not have self-awareness. They cannot truly know themselves because they lack a mind that experiences or reflects. This difference reminds us how special human consciousness is, the capacity to wonder about itself even without full answers. Now, try a simple moment with your own mind. Sit quietly and watch your thoughts as if they are clouds drifting by. Notice how some thoughts come clear, while others fade before you can catch them. Don't try to hold or fix them. Just observe. This gentle watching helps us touch the unknowable, without fear or frustration. If this paradox of knowing the unknowable moves you or sparks your curiosity, please like this video and subscribe for more gentle reflections like this one. Share your experiences or thoughts in the comments below. Your story helps us all feel connected in this shared mystery. As you go through your day or drift into rest, remember, your mind is a vast landscape, partly explored and partly hidden. And in that balance lies the beauty of being alive, a life always inviting discovery, wonder, and gentle acceptance, being watched inside. Have you ever felt completely alone in a quiet room, yet also somehow aware that you are being watched, not by another person outside, but by something inside yourself? It's a strange feeling, as if a hidden gaze is quietly observing every thought and feeling you have, even when no one else is around. This inner watching feels mysterious, but also very familiar. It is a quiet presence inside us all. Have you noticed this? If so, please share where you are watching from and how this feeling shows up for you. When we share these moments, we realize we are not alone in our experience. Let's imagine a simple example. Picture sitting by a window on a rainy day. Cannot watch the raindrops slide down the glass. At the same time, you become aware that you are watching. There's a double layer here. You see the rain, but you also see yourself seeing it. That's the feeling of being watched inside. You are both, the observer and the observed. This simple moment reveals a deep paradox in our mind. The watcher inside watches itself. Or think about a time before an important exam. You might feel nervous, and your mind worries about whether you studied enough. But inside, there is another voice, quietly noticing the worry itself. This inner watcher notices the nervousness, the preparation, even the hope. It is like having two parts inside, one that feels the stress and another that calmly watches the stress happen. This feeling can be comforting or confusing, but it reminds us of this inner gaze. In relationships, this paradox also appears. Sometimes, when you talk with a friend, you suddenly realize you are aware not only of the conversation, but also of your own thoughts about it. You are aware of yourself being aware. It's like an inner camera filming your feelings and reactions. This awareness adds a deeper layer to how we connect with others and ourselves. This idea of being watched from inside touches bigger themes of belief and self-awareness. Many spiritual traditions describe a witness or a silent observer inside each person. This watcher is not the body or the usual mind chatter, but something more quiet and still. It is always present, quietly observing life without judgment. Knowing about this inner gaze can bring a sense of peace. It means we are never truly alone because this watcher is always with us. Language tries to describe this inner watcher, but words can only go so far. We say, I watch, or I see. But who exactly is the I doing the watching? This question reminds us how complex and mysterious our mind is. We use language to talk about our experience, but the experience itself sometimes feels beyond words. This paradox affects mental health too. Being aware of this inner watcher can help in moments of anxiety or stress. Instead of being lost in worries, you can gently notice the worries themselves. This gentle noticing creates space between you and your thoughts. It helps calm the mind and bring clarity, but sometimes trying too hard to find this watcher can also cause confusion. It's important to be patient and gentle with yourself. Even in artificial intelligence, this concept of watching is very different. Machines can analyze data and respond, but they do not have this inner watcher, a conscious self aware of itself. This difference shows how special human awareness is, the ability to watch ourselves watching. It is a subtle but powerful quality of our mind. Try now, if you like, to close your eyes and simply notice your breathing. As you do this, see if you can notice the part of you that is noticing your breath. You are both the breath and the watcher of the breath. There is no rush. Just gently observe. This small practice can help you feel the presence of this inner gaze. If this idea of being watched inside touches something in you, please like this video and subscribe for more gentle reflections. Share your own experiences or thoughts in the comments below. Your story helps us build a calm and connected community. As you move through your day or drift toward sleep, remember that inside you is always a quiet watcher. It sees without judgment, it listens without words. This inner gaze is part of who you are, steady and kind. And in this steady watching, there is peace, talking to yourself. Have you ever caught yourself talking to yourself? Maybe it's a quiet whisper inside your mind, or sometimes even out loud when no one else is around. You might tell yourself to remember something, to calm down, or just replay a conversation from earlier. It's such a common thing that almost everyone does it. But here's a surprising thought. If there is only one you, then who exactly are you talking to? This strange question feels a bit mysterious, yet it is something many of us experience daily. Have you noticed this inner conversation in your own mind? If so, I invite you to share where you are watching this from and how it feels to have this silent dialogue inside yourself. Connecting with others who experience this helps us all feel less alone in our curious minds. Let's think about a simple moment to understand this better. Imagine you are getting ready for an important exam. You sit at your desk and begin to review your notes. Suddenly, you hear your own voice inside saying, "You've got this, just stay calm." It's like a little coach inside you, cheering you on or giving advice. But who is this coach? If there is only one you, why does it feel like two parts, the speaker and the listener? This simple example shows how we carry conversations with ourselves all the time, yet the question remains, who are these parts? Or think about a day when you forgot something important. Maybe you said out loud, "Don't forget your keys," even though you were alone. Speaking to yourself helps you remember and focus. It can feel comforting, like having a friend nearby when no one else is around. Yet, that friend is really you. This creates a strange situation. You are both the one giving advice and the one receiving it. In this way, talking to yourself is a kind of inner relationship. In our relationships with others, talking to ourselves plays an important role too. When we face hard choices or conflicts, we often talk quietly inside to figure out what to do. This inner talking can help us sort through feelings, understand others better, or prepare what to say. It is like practicing a conversation before it happens. But again, the paradox remains. If there is only one self, who is the self on the other side of the talk? This mystery invites us to look deeper into how our mind works. This paradox touches many big ideas about belief and the nature of self. Some philosophers and spiritual teachers say that this inner talk is a sign of the mind's complexity, where I splits into parts, the thinker and the listener. Others suggest that this inner voice is a kind of self-awareness, showing that we can step back and observe our own thoughts. This ability to reflect on ourselves makes humans unique. It's also connected to how we use language. We learn to name things inside us, and then those names become part of a conversation inside our heads. But language can only describe so much. Sometimes this inner talk feels like it goes beyond words. Everyday life gives us many clear examples of this inner dialogue. Imagine the weather outside is cold and rainy. You might say to yourself, "I hope it gets warmer tomorrow." That small thought is really a conversation with yourself, expressing hope and expectation. Or think about waiting for a phone call. You might hear your inner voice saying, "Maybe they forgot. Should I call first?" This little talk shows how we check and balance our feelings inside, even when no one else is around. When it comes to mental health, talking to yourself can be both helpful and tricky. Gentle, kind self-talk can calm anxiety and build confidence. It's like being your own friend, encouraging yourself through hard times. But sometimes, inner talk can become harsh or critical, which can increase stress and sadness. Understanding that this inner voice is part of you helps to be more patient and gentle. You can learn to listen carefully and choose kinder words inside your mind. This idea also connects with how artificial intelligence works. Machines can process data and respond with words, but they don't have an inner voice or a self to talk to. They simply follow programmed rules. The human mind's ability to have a silent conversation inside, where one part listens and another talks, is special and complex. It shows how deep human awareness really goes. Try this now. Next time you are alone, pay attention to your inner voice. Notice how it talks to you. Is it kind or worried? Is it giving advice or asking questions? You might find it surprising how much conversation happens inside your mind, and how often this silent dialogue shapes your day. If this reflection on talking to yourself feels meaningful, please like this video and subscribe for more calming explorations. Share your own stories about your inner voice in the comments below. Your experience helps us all feel connected and understood. As you rest tonight or go about your day, remember this. Inside you there is a quiet conversation happening all the time. You are both the speaker and the listener. This inner dialogue is part of your human nature. a gentle companion guiding you in the silence. And in this gentle talk, there is wisdom and peace. The I illusion. Have you ever stopped to wonder where the I really lives? The feeling of I is so strong, so real, like a solid point inside you that knows who you are. But if you try to find this I, it seems to vanish, like trying to catch smoke with your bare hands. This strange experience can feel mysterious and even a little unsettling. Have you ever noticed this yourself, wondering where the I is when you look for it? If so, I invite you to share your thoughts or where you are joining from in the comments below. It's comforting to know others have felt this curious puzzle too, and sharing can build a gentle community of quiet explorers. Let's start with a simple, everyday example. Imagine you are sitting quietly, feeling calm, and suddenly you ask yourself, "Where am I right now?" At first you might point to your chest or your head. You might say, "I am inside my body." But then, if you look closer, you realize the I you feel isn't really sitting anywhere. It isn't in your eyes or your hands. It's not in your thoughts either, because thoughts come and go, changing like clouds in the sky. This I feels like something different, but it has no fixed place. It's like an invisible center that can't be touched or seen. Think about how we use the word I all the time. When you say, "I am happy," or "I am tired," the I feels like a simple fact. It's who you are. But if you imagine yourself as a collection of feelings, memories, and body parts, where does the I fit in? Is it a memory? Is it a feeling? Or is it something else? The I seems to slip away whenever we try to hold on to it, like it's more a feeling than a thing. In everyday life, this can feel strange. Imagine you're waiting for a friend at a coffee shop. You look around and say to yourself, I am here. But where exactly is this I that is here? Is it in your body sitting at the table? Is it the voice inside your head? Or is it the part of you watching the whole scene? This question invites us to look deeper at what I really means. This paradox touches on bigger themes like identity and consciousness. Some ancient traditions say the I is an illusion, a story we tell ourselves. They suggest that what we call I is really a flow of moments and experiences without a permanent center. Other thinkers say that the I is real, but it cannot be located like a chair or a tree. Instead, it is more like a light that shines on all experiences without being itself seen. This mystery of the I shows how complex and beautiful our minds really are. Try this simple exercise to explore the I. Close your eyes and ask, who is experiencing this moment? Notice what happens. You might feel your breath, your heartbeat, or the sounds around you. But the I that notices these things doesn't seem to be inside those sensations. It feels more like the space in which all these things happen. This is not easy to describe with words because it goes beyond normal thinking. It is a quiet, knowing, a presence that doesn't need to be found. In relationships, this idea is important too. When you say, "I love you," or "I am angry," the I connects to emotions and actions. But when we look closely, we see that the I changes from moment to moment. The I that was happy yesterday may feel very different today. So, the I is not a fixed thing, but a river flowing with each experience. This can also affect mental health. Sometimes people feel lost or disconnected because their sense of I feels shaky. When the I is too tied to certain thoughts or feelings, it can cause stress or sadness. Learning that the I is more fluid can help us relax and not hold too tightly to any one feeling or identity. It encourages kindness and patience with ourselves, knowing that we are not stuck in one shape. This paradox is even reflected in technology like artificial intelligence. Machines can simulate conversation and responses, but they don't have an I. They don't have a center of awareness or a sense of self. This difference highlights how special human consciousness is. The I illusion is part of being alive and aware. As you think about this, notice the ease that comes with not needing to find the I. Sometimes letting go of the search can bring a quiet peace. The I is there, but it's more like a background presence than a solid object. This understanding can gently change how we see ourselves and the world. If this quiet journey into the I feels meaningful, please like this video and subscribe for more calming reflections. Share your own experiences of the I in the comments below. Your thoughts help us all feel connected in this shared mystery. Tonight, or whenever you take a moment to breathe, remember this: the I you seek is not lost. It is simply the gentle space in which all life flows, always present but never fixed, and in this space there is peace beyond words. Emotional echoes. Have you ever felt a sudden sadness or joy that seemed to come out of nowhere? Maybe you walked into a room and felt a heavy weight or a burst of happiness, but no one said anything. It's almost like the feelings weren't yours but belonged to someone else, like echoes bouncing inside you. This strange and quiet experience happens to many of us, and it holds a deep mystery about how emotions move between people. Have you ever noticed this? If so, I'd love for you to share your story or where you are watching from in the comments. It's comforting to know that others feel this invisible connection too, and together we can explore it gently. Let's imagine a simple moment. You're sitting with a friend who is upset, but they don't speak about it. As you watch them quietly, you suddenly feel a heaviness in your chest, a sadness that feels real, even though nothing happened to you. This feeling might surprise you. It is like your friend's sadness has quietly entered your space, becoming part of your own experience. You wonder, is this really mine? This is the heart of the emotional echo, the idea that some feelings are not only personal but shared or even borrowed. Think about how we talk about moods in a group or family. Sometimes one person's anger or excitement seems to spread like a wave. If someone is nervous before an exam, others in the room might start feeling jittery too. Or if someone is calm and peaceful, it can soothe those around them. These simple examples show how feelings can travel between people, often without words. It's a kind of silent language made of energy and presence, something deeper than what we usually notice. This idea connects to bigger questions about how we relate to each other and ourselves. If some feelings are echoes, then where does our own emotional self begin and end? It challenges the way we usually think about emotions as completely private and inside us. Instead, emotions might be like air, sometimes fresh and personal, sometimes shared and swirling with others. This view invites us to be more aware and kind, both to ourselves and to the feelings we pick up from the world around us. Try this simple reflection. Think about a time when you felt tired or anxious for no clear reason. Could it be that you were picking up the energy of someone near you? Or maybe you walked into a crowded place and suddenly felt overwhelmed, not by your own thoughts, but by the many feelings floating in the air. This awareness can help us understand why sometimes emotions feel confusing or heavy. We might be carrying the weight of others, even if unintentionally. In relationships, emotional echoes can be powerful. When we connect deeply with someone, their feelings can become part of our own experience. Loving a family member or a close friend often means feeling their happiness and pain as if it were our own. While this can create beautiful bonds, it can also be exhausting if we don't have clear boundaries. Recognizing emotional echoes helps us care for others without losing ourselves in their feelings. This understanding has important links to mental health. Sometimes people feel overwhelmed by emotions they cannot explain. They might feel anxious, sad, or angry, but these feelings don't seem to come from within. Knowing about emotional echoes gives us a new way to look at these moments. It suggests we might need to rest, breathe, and gently separate our own feelings from those we have taken on from others. This practice can bring relief and calm. Even in the world of artificial intelligence, this paradox is interesting. Machines can simulate emotions, but do not truly feel them or share emotional echoes. This highlights the unique and delicate way humans connect through feelings, something no machine can fully copy. It is a reminder of the deep, invisible threads that link us to each other. As you listen to this, notice if you are carrying any emotional echoes right now. Allow yourself to breathe and imagine gently releasing feelings that aren't yours. This simple act can bring a soft peace, like opening a window to let fresh air in. Emotions are part of life, but we don't need to hold them all tightly. Sometimes the kindest thing we can do is to let go. If this quiet exploration of emotional echoes feels meaningful, please like this video and subscribe for more gentle reflections. Share your own experiences of feeling connected to others' emotions in the comments below. Your words help us build a calm and caring community, learning together in this shared human mystery. Tonight or whenever you pause, remember this: the feelings inside you are not always only your own. Sometimes they are echoes, whispers from others moving through you like a soft breeze. And in this gentle movement, there is space for understanding, healing, and quiet connection. Time's mental trick. Have you ever stopped to wonder why the past feels so real and the future so full of possibilities, yet neither exists at this very moment? It's strange to think that while we live in the present, the past and future only exist inside our minds. This invisible trick our brain plays feels familiar, yet mysterious. Maybe you've found yourself lost in a memory or daydream, forgetting where you are for a moment. If that sounds like you, I invite you to share your thoughts or where you are watching from in the comments. It's comforting to know we all experience this together, in our own quiet way. Every day we move forward in time, second by second, step by step. Yet, what makes time feel like more than just now is the way our mind creates stories about what has already happened and what might come next. Think about a simple morning. When you wake up, you might remember what you did yesterday, talking to a friend, watching a movie, or studying for a test. These memories feel like snapshots, stored safely in your mind. But if you try to touch them, they're not really there, only thoughts and feelings. The past, in that sense, is a mental picture, not something you can step back into. Now, consider the future. It feels full of hope, fear, or excitement. Maybe you think about an upcoming exam, a visit with family, or a dream you want to achieve. Your mind stretches forward, imagining different possibilities. Yet none of these future moments are certain. They only exist as ideas, plans, or worries inside your head. The future is invisible, made of guesses and wishes. It's like painting a picture with colors that might change at any time. This way of experiencing time shows how powerful and creative our minds are. They help us learn from what happened before and prepare for what may come. But it also means that the past and future live mainly inside us, not in the outside world. When we say time flies or time stands still, we're really talking about how our mind feels it, not how clocks tick. This realization opens a quiet door to understanding life differently. Imagine you're waiting for a friend who is late. Your mind might race through thoughts. Will they come? What if something happened? These future worries create stress, even though the actual moment is just waiting. Or maybe you think back on a mistake you made, feeling regret or sadness. That past moment is gone, but your mind keeps playing it on repeat. These simple examples show how our relationship with time is shaped by mental stories, not just the clock. This paradox of time connects to deeper questions about how we live and feel. If the past and future exist mainly in our minds, what about the present? The present is the only real moment, but it can feel slippery or short. When we focus on the present, watching the rain, feeling the sun, breathing slowly, we experience time directly, without stories. This practice, often called mindfulness, helps us step out of the mental trick and live more calmly. The way we think about time also affects our beliefs and emotions. When we worry about the future, it can cause anxiety. When we dwell on the past, it can bring sadness or regret. But if we realize these are mental images, we might find freedom from those feelings. We can gently remind ourselves that the present moment is here now, and it is enough. This idea is not just ancient wisdom, it's also supported by science that shows how our brain processes time and memory. In relationships, the mental trick of time can create challenges and beauty. We hold memories of loved ones who are far away or no longer with us. We imagine future moments together that may never happen. These thoughts can make love and loss feel more intense, yet they also invite us to cherish the present moments we share with others, knowing that time is a flowing experience shaped by our minds. Even technology and artificial intelligence relate to this paradox. Machines measure time precisely, but they do not experience it. They do not remember or imagine in the way humans do. This difference highlights the unique nature of human consciousness, where time is not just a sequence, but a rich inner story. It reminds us how special it is to live with a mind that weaves past and future into meaning. As you listen now, try this simple step. Focus on your breath and the moment you are in. Notice the feeling of sitting, the sounds around you, or the rhythm of your heartbeat. Let the past and future soften, like clouds passing in the sky. This quiet space is where life happens most clearly, beyond the mental trick. If this exploration of time's mental trick resonates with you, please like the video and subscribe for more gentle reflections. Share your thoughts or experiences with time in the comments. Your voice helps create a calm community where we can learn and grow together. Remember, time flows in one direction, but it is your mind that fills it with stories of what was and what might be. By gently stepping into the now, you discover a peaceful place beyond the past and future, a place always waiting, quiet and real. You, without thought. Have you ever noticed how much of your life is filled with thoughts? From the moment you wake up to the moment you fall asleep, your mind is busy, thinking about what to do, what happened yesterday, or what might happen tomorrow. But what if all those thoughts suddenly stopped? If your mind went completely quiet, would you still be the same you? This might sound strange or even a little scary, yet it's a question that touches something very deep and real inside all of us. Before we explore this idea, I want to invite you to take a moment. Wherever you are right now, maybe sitting in your room or outside in the fresh air, think about how often your mind is filled with chatter. Are you someone who has thoughts racing through your head all the time, or do you sometimes find moments of quiet? Feel free to share in the comments below where you are watching from and how your mind feels right now. It helps to know we are not alone in this experience. In our daily lives, thinking is a tool we depend on. We use it to plan, solve problems, remember important things, and connect with others. When we study for exams, we repeat facts and ideas in our mind. When we talk to friends, we choose words and respond to feelings. Even when we feel happy or sad, our thoughts shape how we understand those emotions. Thinking is so familiar that it feels like it is who we are. But imagine a day without any thought at all. No worries about work or school, no memories replaying in your head, no plans for tomorrow, and no self-talk telling you what to do. What would that feel like? Would you feel empty or peaceful? Would you notice yourself in a different way? This idea may seem impossible, because thinking feels so automatic, but there are moments when thoughts do quiet down, like when you meditate, or when you are fully focused on a simple task, like walking or listening to music. Sometimes when people are deeply relaxed or even just about to fall asleep, their thoughts slow down or disappear for a moment. In those quiet moments, some say they feel more alive or more real than when their mind is busy. It is as if the you that is behind all those thoughts is still there, calm and steady. This suggests that who we are might be more than just our thoughts. But what exactly is that more? To understand this better, let's think about something simple. When you see a beautiful sunset, you might notice the colors and feel peaceful. Your thoughts might comment, "This is pretty," or "I wish I could stay here longer." But if you simply watch the sunset without any thinking, just feeling it with your senses, there's a pure experience happening. That experience is part of who you are, beyond the stories your mind creates, or think about the last time you were nervous before a test. Your mind was probably full of worries, questions, and maybe doubts. But beneath those thoughts, there was still a quiet part of you watching those thoughts come and go. That quiet observer does not judge or change, it just notices. This observer is often called the awareness or consciousness, and it exists even when thoughts stop. This paradox, the idea that you might exist without your thoughts, connects to many big ideas about belief, self, and the mind. Different cultures and traditions have explored it in their own ways. Some say the true self is pure awareness, not the mind stories. Some psychology studies show that quieting the mind can reduce stress and increase happiness, and even in modern science, researchers look at how the brain creates thoughts and how awareness is separate from the content of the mind. In relationships, this paradox also matters. When someone is upset or confused, their thoughts might be loud and tangled. But underneath, there is still a calm self that can listen, understand, and heal. Real connection happens when we touch that quiet presence in ourselves and others, not just the noisy mind. This is why moments of silence or shared calm can bring people closer together. Even technology and artificial intelligence cannot replicate this quiet you. Machines can think fast and process data, but they do not have awareness or a true self. They do not experience moments without thought, because they do not experience anything at all. This shows how special human consciousness it is, the ability to be present, to think, and to rest from thinking. As you listen now, try a simple experiment. Close your eyes and take a few slow breaths. Notice any thoughts that come, and then gently let them go. Don't try to force the mind to be silent. Just observe. You might find moments of quietness appear between thoughts. These moments are a glimpse of you beyond thought, calm, steady, and real. If this quiet presence feels interesting or comforting, please like this video and subscribe for more gentle explorations like this one. Share your experience in the comments. Do you notice moments without thought? How does it feel for you? Your sharing helps build a peaceful community where we can all learn and grow together. Remember, you are more than your thoughts. Even if all thinking stopped, the you who watches, feels, and exists would still be there. This quiet self is always present, waiting beneath the noise, offering calm and peace in every moment. Pain behind peace. Sometimes we see someone sitting quietly, their face calm, their body still. They look peaceful, as if nothing could disturb them. Maybe you have even felt that calmness yourself. Those rare moments when everything inside feels settled, quiet, and still. But here is a surprising thought. Even when the mind seems peaceful, there can still be hidden pain beneath the surface. Calmness does not always mean that everything is safe or healed. This idea feels mysterious, because we often think peace and pain are opposites. But what if peace sometimes hides pain, and pain quietly lives behind stillness? Before we dive deeper, I want to invite you to pause for a moment. Wherever you are watching this, think about times you felt calm on the outside, but maybe something inside was uneasy. Have you ever noticed this? Maybe during a quiet afternoon or after a long day, there was a part of you that still felt restless or heavy. If you want, please share your experience in the comments below. It helps to know that others feel this too, no matter where they live or what they do. In everyday life, calmness is often seen as a sign that things are good. After a storm, when the weather clears and the sun comes out, we say the sky is peaceful. After a tough conversation, when silence returns, we say the mood has calmed. And when someone stops moving or speaking, we assume they are resting or safe. These are simple examples that show how we connect calmness with peace. But real peace is more than just quiet. It is deeper than silence. Imagine a lake on a cold morning. The water looks still, like a perfect mirror reflecting the sky. But beneath the surface, the water is cold and dark. Fish swim quietly, and the depth is unknown. That lake shows us a simple example of how calm outside does not always mean warmth or comfort inside. The lake can be peaceful on top but hold coldness underneath. Just like that, our minds can seem still but carry feelings or memories that are not so calm. Or think about sitting quietly before an important exam. Your body might be still, your breathing slow, but inside there could be worry or fear. Silence outside does not erase the nervousness inside. You might try to appear calm to others, but your heart races. This shows how pain or anxiety can live beneath the calm appearance. The stillness does not always mean safety. Sometimes it is a shield hiding what we don't want to face. Even in close relationships, we see this paradox. Someone might say they are fine or okay, while their eyes tell a different story. They might smile quietly, but inside, they feel sadness or hurt. These hidden feelings are real, even if not spoken. Sometimes people need time and trust to share what lies beneath the calm surface. This shows how peace and pain can live side by side, quietly waiting to be noticed. This paradox also touches big themes about belief, language, and mental health. We often use words like peace and calm to describe moments without trouble, but these words can miss the complexity of inner experience. Mental health experts tell us that healing is not always about making pain disappear instantly. Sometimes it is about accepting pain as part of life and learning how to live with it gently. Calmness can be a place where pain is held safely, without rushing or pushing it away. Our thoughts and language shape how we understand these experiences. When we say, "I am calm," we might mean our mind is quiet. But when pain hides beneath, we might not even realize it is there. This is why self-awareness is important. Being able to notice not just what we feel on the surface, but also what might be deeper. Mindfulness practices like gentle breathing or simply paying attention to the present moment help us connect with both calm and pain without fear. Even artificial intelligence, as advanced as it is, cannot feel this paradox. Machines can analyze calm or upset voices, but they cannot hold the delicate balance of peace mixed with pain. They do not experience feelings or the quiet moments when pain hides beneath calmness. This shows the unique richness of human experience, the ability to be peaceful and still while carrying complex emotions inside. As you listen to this, I invite you to try a small exercise. Find a comfortable place to sit or lie down. Close your eyes and take a slow, deep breath. Notice how your body feels. If you feel calm, just stay with that calmness. If you notice any discomfort or pain inside, don't try to change it or judge it. Simply observe it as part of your experience right now. This gentle noticing is a way to meet pain behind peace without fear. If this message resonates with you, please like this video and subscribe for more calming and thoughtful reflections. Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments. How do you experience peace and pain together? Your sharing helps create a warm, understanding space for everyone here. Remember, calmness does not always mean everything is safe or easy. Sometimes, peace is a quiet shelter for pain, waiting to be seen with kindness. In that gentle space, healing can begin, and in your stillness, you are never truly alone. Thinking without words. Have you ever stopped to wonder if it's possible to think without words? Most of us imagine thoughts as a stream of words running through our minds, like an inner voice that talks to us all day long. But what if this inner voice wasn't always there? What if thinking could happen without language? This idea may feel strange or even mysterious because language feels so natural to us. We learn to speak, read, and write from a young age, so it's easy to assume that language and thought are one and the same. But when you pause and think deeply, you might realize how puzzling this really is. If thinking depends on words, then who taught your mind to think before you knew language? Before we go any further, I want to invite you to pause and reflect. Where are you watching this from? Have you ever caught yourself trying to solve a problem or understand something without speaking a single word inside your head? Maybe during a walk, while looking at the sky, or in moments of quiet. If you want, share your experience in the comments below. It helps build a community where we all realize these strange, beautiful puzzles of our minds. To explore this, let's start with some simple examples from everyday life. Imagine a baby before they learn to speak. Babies don't know words yet. They can't talk or read, but they clearly think and feel. When a baby reaches for a toy, reacts to a face, or cries, when uncomfortable, those are signs of thoughts and feelings without words. The baby understands the world in its own way, without language guiding the mind. Or think about a moment when you try to remember a face or a place. Often, this memory comes as an image or feeling rather than words. You might see colors, shapes, or even just a sense of calm or excitement connected to that memory. This shows that our minds can hold thoughts and experiences without turning them into sentences or words. Now, imagine doing a physical activity you've done many times, like riding a bike or tying your shoes. When you first learned, you probably used words to understand the steps. Put foot here, hold handle, balance. But after practice, you can do these things without thinking in words. The actions become automatic, guided by memory and body awareness, not language. This is another way the mind thinks beyond words. Even when solving a math problem, some people say they see numbers or patterns in their minds instead of hearing words. Others feel a sense of rhythm or movement guiding their thoughts. This shows that thinking can happen in many forms, not only through language. This paradox of thinking with and without words touches bigger questions about belief and how we understand ourselves. We often believe that language is the key to clear thinking. School teaches us to use words to explain ideas, and conversations rely on language to share thoughts. But inside, our mind may work differently. Language is a tool we use to express thoughts outwardly, but it might not be the foundation of thought itself. This connects with how mental health works too. When someone feels anxious or overwhelmed, their mind may race with words or silent chatter. Sometimes, learning to slow down and notice feelings without labeling them with words can bring calm. Mindfulness practices often encourage this, observing experience without needing to name or judge it. This shows the mind's ability to be present beyond language. In the world of artificial intelligence, this paradox becomes even more interesting. AI systems use language to process information and communicate. They analyze words and patterns to generate responses. But AI doesn't truly think in the human sense. It doesn't feel or understand beyond symbols and code. This reminds us how unique human thought is, mixing language with images, emotions, and silent knowing. As you listen now, try a simple exercise. Close your eyes and think about a place you love. A beach, a forest, or a quiet room. Don't try to describe it with words. Instead, notice the colors, the sounds, the feelings it brings. See if your mind can hold this image without turning it into language. This gentle exercise shows how thinking without words is possible and beautiful. If this idea resonates with you, please like this video and subscribe for more thoughtful reflections. Share your experience or thoughts in the comments below. How do you experience thinking with or without words? Your sharing creates a space where we all learn from each other. Remember, language is a powerful way to share ideas, but thinking is a deeper, more mysterious process. It can happen with words or without them. Your mind is a wonderful place, sometimes silent, sometimes full of words, always alive with curiosity. Consciousness creates reality. Imagine for a moment that the world around you, the sky, the trees, the sounds you hear, even the people you meet, might not exist exactly as you think. What if everything you experience is shaped inside your own mind? This idea may feel strange or even unsettling, yet it touches something deep inside all of us. We believe in an outside world that is solid and real, but what if your consciousness is actually the artist painting that world? What if reality is less about what's out there and more about what happens inside your mind? This is a paradox that invites us to look closer at how we understand life itself. Before we explore this together, take a quiet moment to think about your own experience. Where are you watching from? Have you ever noticed how the same situation can feel very different depending on your mood or thoughts. Maybe a rainy day feels peaceful sometimes, but gloomy at others, or how the smile of a stranger can lift your spirits one day, but seem unnoticed another. Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. It helps us connect and realize that this mystery of reality is something we all face. To start, let's look at some simple examples from daily life. Imagine waking up on a cloudy morning. The weather outside is gray, and it feels a little cold. Now, think about how your mood changes the way you see that day. If you're feeling happy, the clouds might seem soft, comforting, like a gentle hug from the sky. If you're feeling sad, the same clouds might feel heavy, like a weight pressing down on you. The weather hasn't changed, but your experience of it has. This shows how your mind plays a role in shaping what feels real to you. Or consider an exam day. Two students sit side by side, both with the same test paper. One feels calm and confident, believing they know the answers. The other feels anxious and unsure. The test is the same, but their reality, the way they experience the moment, is very different. The first student sees possibility, the second sees challenge. This is not just about thoughts. It's about how their consciousness creates a very different world for each of them. In relationships, this paradox is also clear. Two people can remember the same event in very different ways. One might recall a conversation as warm and friendly, while the other feels it was tense and cold. Their memories don't just reflect what happened, they shape the meaning of that moment. This shows how reality is not fixed but fluid, shaped by our inner worlds. This idea that consciousness creates reality stretches beyond personal experiences. It touches the nature of belief itself. What we believe influences what we see and how we act. If you believe that people are kind, you are more likely to notice kindness in the world. If you believe the world is dangerous, you may feel fear more often. Our beliefs act like lenses that color the reality we live in. Language also plays a role in shaping our reality. The words we use help us organize our experience. Saying, "I am tired," can make the feeling real, while silence might leave it vague. Yet language can also limit us, boxing our thoughts into fixed ideas. The words good and bad change how we see events, but the events themselves are just experiences waiting for meaning. This paradox reaches into mental health as well. When someone struggles with depression or anxiety, their inner world becomes a place of pain and fear. Their reality is shaped by those feelings, even if outwardly things seem calm or normal. Healing often means changing how the mind sees and interprets the world, showing that consciousness truly shapes what we live through. In the realm of artificial intelligence, the paradox of consciousness and reality invites deep questions. AI can analyze data and respond with words, but it doesn't experience reality. It doesn't shape a world inside like we do. This difference highlights the mystery of human consciousness, how it creates a living, changing reality that goes beyond facts and figures. As you listen, try a simple exercise. Close your eyes and imagine a familiar place. See it clearly in your mind, but notice how it changes with your feelings. Does it feel warm or cold, bright or dark? This is a small glimpse into how your consciousness creates the world you live in. If this idea touches something in you, please like this video and subscribe for more gentle reflections. Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. How do you notice your mind shaping your reality? Your voice adds to this shared exploration. Remember, the world you see is not just out there. It is also created by the quiet, powerful mind inside you. This paradox invites us to be curious, to question, and to find peace in the mysterious dance between our consciousness and the reality it shapes. Feeling someone else. Have you ever felt a strong emotion that seemed to come out of nowhere? A sudden sadness, excitement, or even anxiety, and you couldn't quite place where it came from? What if that feeling wasn't actually yours at all? Imagine the strange idea that sometimes the feelings we experience might belong to someone else, traveling inside us like quiet echoes or shadows. It sounds mysterious, almost like something out of a story, yet many people notice moments like these in their lives. It's a paradox that invites us to wonder about the connections we share with others and how deeply those connections affect us without us even realizing. Before we dive deeper, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever had a feeling that seemed strange or out of place? Maybe it was a sudden sadness during a happy moment or a wave of joy that surprised you. Wherever you are in the world, your experience matters. Sharing it can help us all feel a little less alone in these quiet mysteries of the heart. Let's start by exploring some simple everyday moments. Imagine you're sitting quietly in a cafe, and suddenly you feel a sudden wave of worry or sadness. You look around and no one nearby seems upset, yet that feeling lingers, like a shadow passing through your mind. Later you learn that someone you care about was going through a hard time at that very moment. This shows how feelings can move between people in ways we don't fully understand, or think about a group of friends or family sitting together. One person feels nervous or upset, but the whole group begins to feel a bit tense, even if they don't know why. It's as if emotions spread quietly like ripples in a pond. This is not just imagination. Science has shown that humans are wired to pick up on others' emotions, sometimes without even realizing it. We absorb feelings like sponges, and those feelings can shape how we see and live our own day. In relationships, this paradox becomes very clear. Partners, friends, and family often share more than just words. They share moods and emotions too. When someone we love is sad, we often feel some of that sadness inside ourselves. But this can happen even when we don't talk about it, or even know the other person is upset. Sometimes the feelings come before the words. This shows how connected our emotional worlds can be, even when we think we are alone with our thoughts. This idea reaches far beyond personal experience. It challenges how we think about emotions and identity. If feelings can travel between people, then where do they truly belong? What does it mean to say, "This is how I feel," if some of those feelings might be echoes of someone else? It suggests that our inner worlds are not as private or separate as we often believe. Language plays an important role here too. We use words like "I feel" or "you feel" as if emotions are tightly owned by each person. But what if emotions are more like shared weather, blowing softly between hearts and minds? Sometimes words can trap us in the idea of separateness, while the truth might be more connected and flowing. This challenges the way we speak about and understand our feelings. This paradox also touches mental health in surprising ways. People who experience anxiety or depression often feel overwhelmed by emotions that seem too big or too confusing. Sometimes these feelings might be influenced by the emotions of others around them, family, friends, or even strangers. Recognizing that feelings can be shared or absorbed can open new ways to understand and care for ourselves and others. It reminds us that healing can be about finding balance in the emotional landscape that connects us all. Even in technology and artificial intelligence, the idea of shared emotions is fascinating. AI can recognize human feelings through data and respond, but it doesn't feel emotions itself. It highlights the unique mystery of human connection, the invisible threads that link one heart to another in ways machines cannot fully grasp. As you listen, try a small practice. Think about a moment when you felt an emotion that surprised you. Was it really yours, or might it have come from someone nearby? Notice how your body reacts, how the feeling moves through you. This gentle awareness can deepen your understanding of how connected we all are, even in our quiet, hidden emotions. If this paradox speaks to you, please like this video and subscribe for more gentle explorations. Share your own experiences in the comments. Where have you felt emotions that didn't seem your own? Your voice helps build a community where these mysteries can be shared and understood together. Remember, sometimes the feelings we carry are more than just our own. They may be the echoes of others, quietly moving through us, reminding us of the deep and invisible bonds we share. This paradox invites us to listen softly, feel deeply, and embrace the beautiful complexity of connection that makes us human. Imaginary you. Imagine for a moment that the person you think you are, the you inside your head, is actually more real than the person others see when they look at you. It sounds strange, doesn't it? But if you stop to think about it, most of us live with two versions of ourselves every day. One is the physical self, the body moving through the world. The other is the mental self, the image, voice, and story we carry inside our minds. This inner self shapes how we feel, how we act, and even how we see the world around us. But which one is truly real? The one outside or the one inside? This question touches something mysterious and deeply personal that many of us feel, but rarely talk about. Before we explore this paradox further, I want to invite you to take a moment. Have you ever caught yourself imagining a different version of yourself? Maybe one that is braver, kinder, or even more confident. Or have you ever felt that the person in your head doesn't quite match the person others think you are? If so, you're not alone. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Where are you watching from? How do you see yourself versus how others see you? These small stories create a space where we can connect and explore together. Think about a simple everyday example: getting ready for a meeting, an exam, or a social event. Inside your mind, you might rehearse what you want to say, how you want to behave, even how you want to appear. This mental rehearsal creates a vivid picture of who you want to be. But when the moment comes, the real you might act differently. Maybe you stumble over words or feel nervous. This difference between the imagined and the real shows the paradox in action. The imaginary you feels clear and detailed inside, yet it can never fully match the outside self. In fact, the imaginary version can sometimes feel more alive and present than the physical one. This paradox also plays out in relationships. When you meet someone new, you often have an idea about who they are inside your head, a mental picture, built from their words, gestures, and your hopes. That image might be very different from their real self, just as your imaginary self can differ from the one others see. We all live with these overlapping realities, each shaping how we relate to the world and to each other. It reminds us that reality is not just what we see, but also what we imagine. The language we use adds another layer to this puzzle. We say "I am" and "I feel" as if the inner self and outer self are one and the same. But really, words create the story of who we are in our minds. They give shape to that imaginary you. When you think, "I am tired," or "I am happy," you are speaking to the version of yourself inside your head. This inner voice is so powerful that it can change your mood and even your body's reactions. It's as if the imaginary self is a director, quietly guiding the actor who is the physical you. This idea touches on deeper themes of belief and identity. What if the real you is not fixed but fluid, constantly changing with your thoughts and imagination? If the imaginary self is more real inside your mind, does that mean you have the power to change who you are by changing that mental picture? It's a hopeful thought that our inner story can shape our reality. But it also creates tension because the outside world doesn't always respond to the imaginary self. This gap between inner and outer selves can cause confusion, loneliness, or even pain. Mental health is closely connected to this paradox. People struggling with anxiety, self-doubt, or low self-esteem often feel trapped between who they want to be inside and who they appear to be outside. The imaginary self might be critical or harsh, making it hard to feel good about who they are. On the other hand, some people create positive, hopeful inner versions of themselves as a way to cope with challenges. Understanding the power of this imaginary self can be a step toward healing and growth. It reminds us that our inner world matters deeply, even if it feels invisible to others. Technology and artificial intelligence add an interesting twist to this paradox. AI can simulate personalities and responses, creating virtual selves that feel real, yet these digital selves do not have an inner life or imagination. They only mimic the outside appearance of the you. This contrast highlights how unique the human experience is, the rich, imaginative inner world that makes each person truly alive. As you listen to these ideas, take a moment to notice your own imaginary self. What does it look like? How does it feel? Try to observe without judgment, like watching clouds drift by. This gentle awareness can bring comfort and curiosity, helping you understand the complex layers of who you are. If this paradox of the imaginary self speaks to you, please like this video and subscribe for more thoughtful journeys. Share your experiences in the comments. How do you see the difference between the you inside and the you outside? Your stories help create a community where we can explore these hidden parts of ourselves together. Remember, the version of you inside your head is more than just imagination. It is a living part of who you are, sometimes clearer and more real than the person the world sees. This paradox invites us to listen softly to our inner voices, to honor the stories we tell ourselves, and to gently explore the mysterious space between imagination and reality. Invisible self. Have you ever looked around and realized that no matter how much you try, you can never actually see yourself directly? You might glance into a mirror, catch your reflection in a window, or spot yourself in a photo, but none of those is really you. They are just images, shadows, reflections, or pictures of your body. The real you is always just out of sight. This invisible self is something you live with every moment, yet it remains mysterious and unseen. It's like being in a room with a secret door you can never find. This is a puzzle that quietly touches all of us, even if we rarely stop to think about it. Before we go deeper, I want to invite you to pause and think about this. Have you ever felt your presence so strongly that it seemed to fill a room even though no one else could see it? Or maybe you've experienced moments when you felt invisible to others, even while being physically present. Where are you watching from right now? How do you feel about this invisible part of yourself? Please share your thoughts in the comments. Your stories build a quiet community of people exploring the unseen. Let's look at a simple example from everyday life. Imagine you're sitting alone on a quiet morning, watching the sunlight move slowly across the floor. You feel calm and aware, noticing the warmth on your skin, the sounds around you. But if someone else walked into the room, they wouldn't see the you who is aware of all these things. They would only see your body sitting there. Your true self, the one that feels and notices, is invisible, hidden inside. This shows the paradox. You are always here experiencing life, but you can never see the self that experiences. Think about exams or important moments in life. When you prepare or feel nervous, there is a silent you inside that watches your thoughts and feelings. This inner observer doesn't have a face or shape. It's just there, quietly witnessing everything. You can't point to it or hold it, yet it is part of your experience. It's the invisible self, always present but never captured in a photo or reflection. This idea can feel strange because we often think of ourselves as bodies or faces, but really, the core of who we are remains unseen. The language we use tries to describe this invisible self, but it falls short. Words like I, me, and myself point to something inside, but they are just labels. The real self doesn't have a name or form. It's more like a light shining quietly inside you, showing the world in a unique way. This makes the invisible self both familiar and mysterious. We use language to explain who we are, but the true self is beyond words. It is a feeling, a presence that can't be captured fully by speech or thought. This paradox connects to bigger themes like belief and identity. Many spiritual and philosophical traditions talk about the self as something deeper than the body or mind. They say the true self is invisible but real, like the air we breathe, unseen but essential. This invisible self is where awareness lives, where consciousness happens. When you focus quietly, you might catch a glimpse of this inner presence. It feels calm and steady, even when the outside world is noisy or confusing. Mental health also relates to this idea. Sometimes, when people feel lost or disconnected, it's because they have forgotten or can't find their invisible self. They might feel overwhelmed by thoughts or emotions, losing touch with the quiet observer inside. Finding the invisible self again can bring peace and grounding. It reminds us that beneath worries and fears, there is a calm space that is always with us, even if it cannot be seen. Even in the world of technology, this paradox appears in new ways. Artificial intelligence can create images or voices, but it cannot have an invisible self. AI doesn't experience or feel, it only processes data. This difference highlights how special the human invisible self is, an unseen presence that gives life and meaning to all experience. It's a reminder that, no matter how advanced technology becomes, the true self remains a mystery and a wonder. As you listen to these words, try to feel the invisible self inside you. Close your eyes for a moment and notice the quiet presence that watches your thoughts and feelings. You might not see it, but you can feel it like a gentle light inside your mind. This simple awareness can bring a deep sense of calm and connection. It shows that the invisible self is not lost or missing. It is always here, quietly present in every moment. If this idea of the invisible self resonates with you, please like this video and subscribe for more thoughtful explorations. Share your experiences in the comments below. How do you feel your invisible self? Your stories help create a space where we can all connect and learn together. Remember, you are always here, even though you can never see yourself directly. This invisible self is a quiet mystery, the hidden light of your being. It invites you to pause, to listen softly, and to discover the presence that lives beyond sight, beyond words, and beyond form. Mind's fragile mirror. Have you ever noticed how fragile your mind can feel? One moment everything seems clear and calm, like a perfectly still lake reflecting the sky. And then suddenly, a wave crashes in, an emotion, a thought, or a memory, and that clear reflection shatters into ripples and fragments. It's a strange experience because it feels so real and powerful, yet it happens inside something invisible, your mind. This delicate balance between clarity and chaos is a paradox. We all know deeply but rarely understand fully. It's as if our mind is a mirror that can show us ourselves perfectly one moment and then break apart without warning the next. Before we explore this fragile mirror further, I'd like to ask you to take a moment and feel how your mind is right now. Are you feeling calm and focused? Or maybe a little scattered or tired? Wherever you are in the world, I invite you to share how your mind feels in the comments below. Your feelings are part of a shared human experience, a silent connection between us all. Knowing that others feel this fragile clarity too can be a quiet comfort. To understand this paradox better, let's think about something simple, like the weather. Imagine a clear morning with bright sunlight and calm air. The sky is perfectly reflected in a still pond. This is how our mind feels when it's clear and peaceful, like that mirror. But then a gust of wind blows across the water, disturbing the reflection. The pond ripples, and the clear image breaks apart. That gust of wind is like a sudden emotion, maybe stress, sadness, or anxiety, that disrupts the calm mind. Sometimes, just one small thought can cause this ripple, and suddenly, your mental clarity feels shattered. This happens not only with emotions, but also with thoughts. When we study for an exam or try to focus on work, our mind can feel sharp and clear. We can see things in order and make sense of complex ideas. But then, a distracting worry or memory intrudes. Suddenly, concentration slips away like a mirror cracking, and it's hard to find that clarity again. We feel broken inside, even if only for a moment. This experience shows how delicate the mind's mirror really is, holding everything together, one second and losing it the next. Relationships also reveal this fragile nature. When we feel close and understood by someone, our mind feels safe and bright. We reflect each other's feelings, like two mirrors facing one another. But conflicts, misunderstandings, or harsh words can shatter that connection quickly. The emotional, Ripples cause confusion and pain, breaking the mental calm we shared. This cycle of connection and fracture is a dance we all know, reminding us how sensitive and delicate the mind truly is. Now, if we look deeper, this fragile mirror touches important themes about who we are. Our mind is the place where we experience reality, but it is also where emotions and thoughts live and change constantly. This makes our sense of self feel both solid and fragile at the same time. Sometimes we feel like masters of our minds, clear and confident. Other times we feel like strangers to ourselves, confused and overwhelmed. This paradox shows the mystery of human consciousness, a beautiful but fragile dance of light and shadow inside us. Language tries to capture this fragile state with words like balance, clarity, breakdown, or focus. But no word can fully explain how it feels to have your mind suddenly shatter and then try to find peace again. This is because the mind is not just thoughts or feelings. It's the space where those things happen. It's like a mirror that can't be held or touched, only seen through. Our words point to it, but the real experience is beyond description. This makes the mind's fragile mirror a deeply personal and universal mystery. This paradox also connects to mental health in important ways. When people struggle with anxiety, depression, or stress, it often feels like their mind's mirror is constantly breaking. The calm moments are rare, and the waves of emotion seem endless. Understanding that this fragility is part of being human can bring comfort. It reminds us that breaking apart sometimes doesn't mean losing ourselves. It means we are sensitive, alive, and trying to make sense of a complex inner world. Healing can come when we learn to gently hold this fragile mirror with care and kindness. Even in the world of artificial intelligence, this idea shows up in new ways. AI can process data, make decisions, and learn patterns, but it does not experience the fragile balance of clarity and confusion. It does not have a mirror that breaks and mends inside. This difference highlights the unique beauty of the human mind, a fragile, living mirror that reflects not only the outside world, but also the depths of our inner life. It's a reminder of how precious and complex our experience really is. As you listen now, try to feel this fragile mirror inside your own mind. Notice how your thoughts and feelings rise and fall, like waves on a quiet lake. Feel the moments of clarity and the moments of break without judgment. This simple awareness can bring peace, reminding you that it's okay to be fragile and strong. At the same time, your mind is a mirror, always reflecting your unique journey. If this idea of the mind's fragile mirror touches you, please like this video and subscribe for more gentle explorations. Share your thoughts and feelings below. How
Do you experience this fragile clarity?
your voice helps create a calm, understanding community where we can all learn from each other. Remember, the mind is a fragile mirror, beautiful in its clarity and human in its breaks. It holds your story, your light and your shadow, all together in a delicate balance. Let this truth settle quietly inside you as you continue your journey, gently reflecting the world and yourself. Desire destroys peace. Have you ever noticed how the harder you try to find peace inside, the more your mind seems to race? It's a strange feeling, almost like chasing after something invisible that slips further away the closer you get. You want calmness, but the more you want it, the more restless your mind becomes. This is a paradox that many of us live with every day. Even though it feels confusing and a little frustrating, it's as if desire itself, the very thing pushing us forward, also pulls us away from the calm we seek. Before we dive deeper into this delicate puzzle, I want to invite you to pause and feel where you are right now. Is your mind peaceful? Or is it chasing after something it can't quite catch? Wherever you are in the world, take a moment to share in the comments how you experience this restless desire. Connecting with others who feel this too can be a quiet reminder that none of us are alone in this inner struggle. Let's look at something simple and familiar to understand this paradox. Imagine a quiet day with soft sunlight and a gentle breeze. You want that peaceful moment to last forever, so you focus all your attention on holding on to it. But as you try harder, the breeze becomes a wind, the sunlight flickers, and the quiet breaks. This is like the mind when it desires peace. It tries so hard to hold stillness that it actually creates tension and noise inside. The very act of wanting peace can make the mind restless and unsettled. Or think about a student preparing for an exam. They want to be calm and focused, but the more they think about how important it is to stay calm, the more their mind jumps around with worries and doubts. The desire for calm turns into pressure, and pressure leads to stress. This simple example shows how wanting something too much can make it harder to get. The mind gets caught in a loop of wanting, and peace feels like a distant dream. In relationships, we also see this paradox. Sometimes we want closeness and understanding so deeply that it creates tension instead. We want someone to listen, to be there, to care. But the more we want it, the more we might feel anxious or restless inside, as if the desire itself creates a space between us and others. It's a delicate balance, where wanting connection too intensely can push it away. This everyday experience reminds us that desire can be a double-edged sword, both motivating and unsettling. This paradox leads us to bigger questions about how desire shapes our minds and lives. Desire is natural and powerful. It pushes us to grow, to create, and to dream. But when desire becomes grasping or desperate, it can destroy the very peace it hopes to find. It teaches us that peace is not something to chase or hold tightly. Instead, peace may come when we soften our grip on wanting and learn to be with things as they are, even if they are imperfect or incomplete. Language tries to describe this tension with words like longing, restlessness, contentment, and release. Yet these words can only hint at the experience because the feeling is so deep and subtle. The mind is like water. When held tightly, it becomes turbulent. When allowed to flow freely, it reflects calm and clarity. This paradox of desire shows us the limits of language and the mystery of inner peace. Understanding this paradox is important for mental health too. Many people suffer because they feel they must always want more success, more happiness, more calm. This endless wanting creates stress and dissatisfaction, but learning to accept the restless mind with kindness can bring relief. It helps us see desire not as a problem to fix, but as a part of being human, a delicate force that needs gentle care and awareness. Even in the realm of artificial intelligence, this paradox has meaning. AI systems are designed to optimize and achieve goals. They do not feel desire or restlessness. This highlights a unique human experience, the tension between wanting and being, between effort and peace. It reminds us how precious our ability to feel desire is, even if it sometimes disturbs our calm. As you listen now, try to notice your own desires without judgment. Notice how wanting can bring energy, but also how it can create restlessness. Let yourself be curious about this dance inside you. Sometimes peace comes not from having less desire, but from seeing desire clearly, without fear or frustration. If this idea resonates with you, please like this video and subscribe for more gentle reflections. Share your thoughts below. How do you experience the restless mind? Your voice helps build a calm and understanding community where we can all explore these mysteries together. Remember, desire is both a gift and a challenge. It can inspire growth and also disturb peace. Learning to hold this paradox gently is part of the human journey, a quiet dance between reaching and resting, between wanting and being. Let this truth settle softly within you as you continue on your path. Attention shapes self. Have you ever noticed how what you focus on can change the way you see yourself? It's a strange and quiet power that your attention, simply where you choose to look or think, can shape who you are inside. Imagine sitting in a room and your eyes settle on a small plant in the corner. The more you look at that plant, the more it seems to grow in your mind. It becomes a part of your experience, a small world within your world. This simple idea holds a deeper paradox. Whatever you focus on, no matter how small, begins to shape your entire identity. Pause for a moment and think about where your attention is now. What do you see? What thoughts come to your mind? I'd love to hear where you are listening from and how you notice your focus shaping your day. Sharing this helps us connect and understand how this silent force works in all our lives. Let's consider some everyday moments to explore this paradox. Imagine the weather outside. Maybe it's cloudy and gray. If you pay attention only to the gloom, your mood might follow. The day can feel heavy or dull. But if your attention shifts to a bright window or a patch of green grass, suddenly the day changes. It feels lighter, more hopeful. Your inner world begins to mirror what you focus on. The same weather exists, but your experience changes with your attention. This simple example shows how attention shapes not only what we notice, but also who we feel we are in that moment. Think about a student preparing for an important exam. When their attention is on fear or doubt, they might feel small, incapable, or overwhelmed. But when their focus turns to confidence and preparation, their identity shifts too. They start to see themselves as someone capable and ready. The mind's focus doesn't just observe. It changes the story we tell about ourselves. In relationships, attention plays an equally powerful role. If you focus on someone's flaws or mistakes, it can create distance and tension. But if you choose to notice kindness, moments of laughter, or support, your connection deepens. The way we pay attention to others shapes the relationship and shapes us as people who either build trust or create walls. This paradox leads us to profound truths about belief and identity. Our attention is like a spotlight in a dark theater, deciding what gets seen and what remains hidden. It shapes how we understand ourselves and the world. This means our identity is not fixed or solid. It changes based on where we place our attention. The self is flexible and fluid, shaped by the focus we bring each day. Language tries to describe this power with words like mindfulness, presence, or awareness. These ideas teach us that by choosing where to put our attention, we can shape our experience and ourselves. But the true depth of this paradox goes beyond words. It is felt in the subtle shifts inside when our attention moves from fear to calm, from judgment to kindness, or from doubt to hope. This insight matters deeply for mental health. When we feel stuck in negative thoughts or self-doubt, it's often because our attention is caught in a loop of pain or fear. But learning to gently shift our attention, like turning a soft light onto a new corner, can bring relief and healing. It is a simple practice but powerful in changing how we feel and who we believe we are. Even in artificial intelligence, this paradox has meaning. AI can be programmed to focus on data points or tasks, but it does not experience identity or self. The human mind's ability to shape identity through attention is unique and precious. It shows the deep connection between consciousness and the world we create inside. As you listen now, try to notice where your attention is. Is it caught on worry, on joy, on memory, or on hope? Let your awareness gently move like a breeze, touching different parts of your inner world. This gentle practice can help you see how attention shapes yourself quietly and constantly. If this idea touches you, please like this video and subscribe for more thoughtful reflections. Share in the comments how you notice your attention shaping your day or your feelings. Your experiences help us build a community where we can explore these mysteries together. Remember, your attention is a powerful force shaping your identity. Wherever you choose to focus, you begin to become. This quiet power is part of what makes being human so rich and mysterious. Let this thought settle softly within you as you continue your journey of self-discovery. Observer becomes observed. Have you ever been so lost in thought that suddenly you realize you are watching yourself think? It's a strange moment, like the mind, which was quietly observing, becomes the very thing it is watching. This quiet flip where the observer becomes the observed feels both familiar and mysterious. It's a paradox of consciousness that touches every person yet remains hard to explain. Maybe you have felt this too, and if so, I invite you to share where you are listening from and how this moment feels for you. It's in sharing these subtle experiences that we find connection and understanding. Imagine a simple scene. Sitting outside on a calm day, watching the clouds drift. At first, your mind quietly observes the sky, but then your attention turns inward, and you find yourself noticing the thoughts about the clouds themselves. You realize your mind is watching its own watching. This looping of observation turns your own mind into an object of attention. What was once outside now turns inside, and the watcher becomes watched. In everyday life, this paradox can show up in many ways. For example, when preparing for an exam, a student might initially focus on the subject matter, the facts and ideas to learn, but soon they might start noticing how they feel about the exam. Nervous, excited, or doubtful. Their attention shifts from the subject to their own thoughts and feelings. Suddenly, the mind steps outside itself, observing its own reactions. This double awareness can be both helpful and confusing. It can bring insight or cause distraction depending on how it unfolds. In relationships, this paradox is also present. When you argue with someone, you might first be aware of their words or actions, but then you might catch yourself noticing how you respond emotionally or mentally. You become aware of yourself becoming aware of the other. This layered observation can deepen understanding, but also create distance or confusion if not handled gently. This paradox points toward a deeper truth about how our minds work. The self is not a simple thing. It can be both subject and object, watcher and watched. Our consciousness folds back on itself, creating layers of awareness that can sometimes feel like looking into a mirror that reflects another mirror. This looping experience challenges our usual sense of a fixed, separate self. Language tries to capture this with words like self-awareness or metacognition, but these terms only touch the surface. The lived experience is richer and more subtle. When the observer becomes observed, it can feel like stepping into a hall of reflections, where the boundary between who is watching and what is watched becomes blurry. This phenomenon also connects to belief and mental health. Sometimes, being aware of our own thoughts in this way can lead to greater insight, helping us see patterns and habits that shape our lives. But if the mind gets stuck in this loop, constantly watching itself without rest, it can lead to anxiety or overthinking. Finding balance in this self-observation is key. Even in artificial intelligence, this paradox is fascinating. AI can process data and even monitor its own performance, but it does not truly observe itself in the way human consciousness does. The looping, reflective quality of mind remains a unique human gift, revealing the deep mystery of self and awareness. As you listen, gently notice your own mind. Are you simply observing, or have you become the observed? Allow your awareness to rest softly without judgment or rush. This gentle presence can open a calm space within where the mind's reflections are met with kindness. If this idea resonates with you, please like this video and subscribe for more thoughtful reflections. Share your experience or where you are listening from in the comments. Together we can explore these mysteries and find peace in the quiet unfolding of our own minds. Remember, the observer and the observed are not separate. They dance together in the flow of consciousness. In this dance, we glimpse the deep and beautiful complexity of what it means to be aware. Let this thought settle softly within you as you continue your day, endlessly becoming. Have you ever noticed how, even when you feel steady or certain, something inside you is always shifting? It's like you are never really the same person from one moment to the next. This idea, that you are endlessly becoming, is both comforting and strange. It means that who you are now is not fixed, but always changing in ways big and small. Maybe you have felt this quietly in your own life, the sense that you are not the exact same self you were yesterday or even a few minutes ago. If so, I'd love to hear where you are listening from and how this feeling shows up for you. When we share these experiences, we begin to understand a deeper part of ourselves together. Think about a simple moment: the weather outside your window. One day, it might be calm and clear, the next cloudy or rainy. We accept this natural change without surprise. Yet when it comes to ourselves, we often expect to stay the same. We want to hold on to one version of who we are, a version that feels safe or familiar. But just like the sky, we are always moving through different states. Every feeling, thought, and action shifts us a little, shaping the person we become in the next moment. This paradox shows itself in many parts of daily life. Imagine a student studying for an exam. One day they might feel confident and focused, the next day nervous or tired. Their sense of self changes with these moods, yet they are still the same person at the core. The student is endlessly becoming, growing, adapting, changing, yet holding a connection to what came before. This constant change can be unsettling, but it also means there is always room for growth, for new understanding, and for fresh beginnings. In relationships, this idea also plays out in subtle ways. The person you know best, yourself, is not a fixed image in the mind of another. Over time, people around you see different versions: someone joyful, someone sad, someone quiet, someone bold. Each moment adds to the story of who you are becoming, in their eyes and in your own. The flow of your identity shifts with every smile, every word, every silent thought. It is a gentle reminder that the self is not a statue carved in stone, but a river that flows without end. This paradox challenges the way we think about identity. Our culture often pushes us to choose labels or define ourselves in simple terms. I am this, or I am that. But the truth is more complex and beautiful. You are not one thing, but many things in constant motion. The self is a process, a story that is never fully told. This means there is freedom in change. It means mistakes do not define us, and each day holds the chance to become someone new. Language struggles to capture this idea fully. We talk about the self as if it is a fixed object, but really, it is more like a verb, something that is always happening. When we say I am, we might imagine a solid identity. But in reality, I am is a continual unfolding. The I of this moment is different from the I of a year ago, or even an hour ago. This endless becoming is a quiet mystery, at the heart of human life. This concept also touches on belief and mental health. Sometimes, the pressure to be consistent or stable causes stress, as if we must always be the same. But embracing the flow of becoming can bring peace. It reminds us that change is natural and that our worth is not tied to a fixed identity. When anxiety or sadness arise, they become part of the larger river of ourself, not permanent labels. This view helps us be gentler with ourselves and more open to healing. Even in the world of artificial intelligence, this paradox is intriguing. AI learns and adapts, changing with data and experience. Yet it lacks the deep, ongoing self-reflection that humans have. It cannot truly become in the same fluid, alive way. Our endless becoming is tied to consciousness, memory, and feeling, qualities that make human life endlessly rich and surprising. As you reflect on this, notice your own life's flow. What small changes have you noticed in yourself lately? How do these shifts shape the person you feel you are becoming? Allow this awareness to rest softly, without rushing to hold on or push away. There is beauty in the unfolding, even when it feels uncertain. If this idea speaks to you, please like this video and subscribe for more gentle explorations like this. Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. Where are you on your journey of becoming right now? By sharing, we create a community of quiet understanding and support. Remember, you are never finished. Every moment is a chance to be someone new, to grow, to learn, and to soften into life's flow. In this endless becoming, there is freedom, hope, and the deep truth of what it means to be alive. Let this thought settle gently as you move through your day, and into peaceful rest.